it's kind of the same conversation we've been having. Like,
do you have a pyramid of shoes back
there? It's just a one loss at this point, and it's still the very beginning. It's the first game that either of these have played in the group.
You got Stop ADC in the league? No.
You
got terrible.
If you're 0-1 for next week's games to
I hate that guy.
go your way. No slip-ups. You have to make sure that you're going to be successful. You don't want to be tied at like 1 and 2 at the bottom and then learn that
I'm actually so interested in these picks and bans.
That is going to be taking your spot.
Not even going to watch that Marvels race.
Head-to-head. So I think that's something that there's going to be going through their minds as they started up. King's going to be your first pick for this.
Are you using Bang Time?
I'm really excited. Like the way the
picks and
bans have evolved over just the last
couple
of days. I mean, we've seen a lot of Yanis bans,
Bug
bans, Sobek bans. Those all make sense. Tiamat makes sense. Then we're starting to see some
Sobek ban, okay.
in there.
Which was a
Ymir, Yamoja are like
bug.
on the Finns, Gilgamesh
Fenrir.
and this Fenrir who has been jumping to the top.
Fenrir makes sense. Sobek makes sense. Nothing crazy yet.
More than anything since PBM and Sam can play him.
I think
so too. I think there's a lot of overlap actually between the god pools of these two teams.
Merc ban.
Or Genetics and Mike
did not see that coming.
Emoja, you're looking at Fafnir. You're
no troll actually did not see that coming. Emoja ban.
You already
Standard.
covered the synergy there between Sam and Twig and what they like to play in the jungle.
I like Twig's hair.
Playing a lot of Heim, Chiron on her, the same stuff that Panda's been playing, though that's kind of the same for every hunter. So that one's kind of the same. I just think that it's going to be fun.
And
I was going to wonder if there was going to be a
standard.
Giannis ban coming from the Camelot Kings up against Whirlwind, and I think that they made the right call taking that away.
So 2 target bans from first pick, Raw ban, another target ban. Tiamat is open, chat. Tiamat has made it through. Only 2 support bans as well.
Who's playing Raw? One of the few who's been playing it consistently.
Are we going to first pick Tiamat here, or is there something else we want?
Look pretty good on that one as well. The Dragons are going to take that one away from
Chiron
has taken the league by storm this week. That immediately jumps up to the top. And, I mean, it's kind of this two-edged sword, right? You get it for yourself, and Netroid should look good on it, but you also strip it away from PandaCat. It's a really solid pick. Effectively a 4th ban while still being something.
Does Hurry play Tiamat?
Yeah,
maybe they know he doesn't, so they first pick Chiron.
Wanted is to make sure that they
Hurry has to play Tiamat. 100%. Every mage.
I think that this is going to continue to be the case, is that this rising sort of prioritization towards this Chiron.
Okay,
We're
locking in Tiamat here, right?
To get used to first picking it. Now they end up first picking the Chiron.
Right.
I think they're ahead of schedule. So this is a good kitty cam here. I believe this is Captain Twig's cat in the background. And that's a cute cat, no doubt about that.
It is a very, like, not only the cat shot, but also every time. So whenever I say in any of the Inside Apparel reads, hey,
Ymir Tiamat?
Whole logo on the shoulder, that's exactly what I mean. Right there. You can see it's the only thing on Twig that you can watch. That's what you're looking for. And that one's going to be your jungle, your assassin, what have you. Of course, the kitty cat taking the league by storm. That's the more important part that comes through. Twig's blocking it, so now it doesn't matter anymore.
Okay, I was about to say, like, this looks pretty simple. How did Tiamat get all the way down there?
And that's going to be maybe the first time that we've seen specifically the Kings get this Tiamat. I'll double check myself on that one. No, they've played her once already. They won with her the one time they got her.
I'm confused with these picks and bans so far.
And that's a monumental pick to be able to grab up.
It is, and you know that Big Man has been such a playmaker for this team in the mid lane.
King's draft,
what he's done for the Camelot Kings this year, and to give him a playmaking god
Gilgamesh
like
solo
Tiamat makes a lot of sense. But he's got to be able to be the aggressor in these team fights, and having something like a Chiron alongside it to give you backup damage, to give you an additional cleanse to the CC immunity that already exists in the Tiamat kit, I think is a really nice pairing between this back line of the Kings.
Now this is me completely trailing off in my mental.
Does Chiron first to really put Dragons through a loop? I don't understand, Spinner.
In the group stage, maybe sometime eventually, just so the BaRRaCCuDDa cam and the Twig cat cam can go up against each other there in the middle of the picks and ban screen. It's going to be the Osiris of all things banned.
I genuinely don't understand.
Followed by the Scylla ban for the Kings, and of course I misspell it as I type it out. But Scylla has kind of been, I want to say, like on the back burner.
Like am I trolling?
Nothing really bad happened.
Osiris, Arthur ban, Scylla ban, and another mage ban potentially. Whatever we don't want to play against Tiamat with.
But with Yanis gone, now with Scylla gone, like does that favor Tiamat because of the matchup, or is this really just shots at Whirlwind?
I think it's more just shots at Whirlwind, just making sure that he's not getting some of his comfort picks in that mid lane. I'd expect Raijin would be the next mage that I would want to take off the board here from the Camelot Kings.
Yeah.
He's been seeing a lot more play in that mid lane and has looked pretty good during it. Merlin would be the other one. I think that you're probably banning one of those two, but Hurry's probably pretty happy with either one of those two, whatever one does get through from this position. So maybe the Kings just decide not to take one of those two things away and instead look to ban out
I'm
Sam
just confused.
or Fine OK, depending on...
I did not see the picks and bans going this way.
Has potential to go.
Banning Raw over banning Tiamat's wild. I feel like Heroin just showed he doesn't play Tiamat or value Tiamat if they're not going to top 2 Tiamat. Soul ban. Oh, I guess Hurry was playing Soul. That's right. That's right. That's right.
And Hurry's played a lot of Kukulkan. I wouldn't necessarily mind him. I don't know the matchup, I guess, in mid.
So our mid 3-3 is going to be a Fafnir Circuit plus...
It's one of those things that I think fits well with the team.
Okay, we're not going Mage there. We're going Yi.
Out of left field, who Yi comes into this one.
I assume he wants to jump into the Ymir. Makes sense.
Played, but it's interesting enough because he's been so far and few in between.
Yeah, he has. And when you think about when you'd want to play Ho Yi, it's in the crit meta, and he didn't see a whole lot of play during crit meta. Now that we're potentially out of it, yeah, now's the time to pick Ho Yi. Just feel like
AC player was so dumb.
Play a little bit aggressively up against that Chiron, but a lot of that option would have been up against that knock-up that you would have that interrupt his dash. Now you can't do it.
Cthulhu Nausea.
First, this has been a week 4. We've had
all right, boys, wrap it up.
Have had their first
wrap it up.
week, and now
wrap it up.
Over to 7. Cthulhu, who was
I mean, I'm gonna be honest.
Player,
one team's draft just looking better here. I'm not gonna say which one and give it away, but golly.
Earlier, we'll get to that a little bit later.
I think one team won here. Merlin last pick for Jade, by the way.
Where has he been, and is it the pick to take in?
Congratulations, NC Tigers. Exposure.
Yeah, I don't.
135.
Really
oh, you almost got it.
This Cthulhu pick here for variety, because you think about the gods that would hard counter Cthulhu the most. Ho Yi has got to be near the top of that list because Mark of the Golden Crow gives you percentage damage on missing HP. And Cthulhu just gets a ton of HP whenever he ults, and with chin size now in the meta more so than crit.
Yeah,
time might have passed before he got a chance to show up.
One team looking way better here.
He still dives, he still
in the picks and bans, I will say.
Hard to kill in the early to mid stages of the game. I just think
that's which we'll play, chat. I'm gonna start this one like super fast.
And then a coerce on top of
we got 3 minutes.
Because of that buff from PBM, you're gonna be feeling really strong about that.
Exclamation play, exclamation play, exclamation play, exclamation play.
Give him some of that.
Exclamation point play, chat.
Maybe this could be a problem here for variety.
Exclamation point play.
Excited to see what he's
with 1Y.
Especially because like, Osiris King Arthur banned away.
At 140, I'm starting. Exclamation point play.
Took a lot of
you won't be able to hear that before. Yeah, but you heard it enough. Starting.
And even with buffs, like I'm gonna keep saying it. Bologna just got buffed. I'm gonna keep rooting for her until she gets picked up. She's one of my favorites to play over there. She just hasn't.
So weird, man. Am I trolling?
Some of these changes. Gilgamesh, I think we've
you're on the time next to the 46. Wait, that was the fastest 3 minutes ever.
Cthulhu locked in for the first time. Let's go down to game 1 and see what happens.
Plenty of
that was the fastest 3 minutes ever.
Lies in store for the Camelot Kings versus the Jade Dragons. My name is Dolson Mifflin.
They're just using a picture of variety.
Working alongside us.
Do these guys not have working webcams?
Miff, this is a big one here.
How do all of them?
The Jade Dragons and the Camelot Kings
their whole team isn't using webcams? That's such a buff.
So a loss here on either side.
They literally don't have the webcam debuff. Okay, I'm not playing with webcam the rest of SPL. If their whole team is not using webcams, I'm not using one.
We get a Cthulhu. We get ourselves a Ho Yi on the other side. Plenty to look at here as far as drafts go. And Mifflin, you muted yourself again.
Oh, wait.
And I can't believe it. I mean, 2 days in a row, baby.
So
Let's go.
Oh, look. Yeah. Dave, I don't want to hear it, but I was doing such good analysis before this started up.
We have webcams on the side of Dragon, so I'll shrink myself.
Wrong stuff, and you can correct yourself now, right? You get a second.
Dude, the webcam debuff is huge.
Yeah, so Cthulhu, incredibly strong pickup. I think that it's going to fit into this draft really well as a CC core, as just a great way to burn beads, or if anyone's beads are burned, well, infinite knockup's going to be pretty strong going forward. So Captain Twig, all those single target inside of his CC.
I knew Pika was going to go that build.
Incredibly well. Genetics is going to have some great beads burning potential as well. So the Camelot Kings, I think, are going to be a little bit more so slated towards the mid-game team fight, whereas the Jade Dragons have a little bit more emphasis on the early. You want to make sure Hou-Yi gets off to a good start as an aggressive hunter. Sanfrecce on Circuit should be Jazzberry jamming it the entire match.
I'm so confused. The picks and
I
bans
expect
are
the
so
Dragons to
weird,
be
man.
really gas pedaling it from minute 1.
Well, Variety has gone towards Warriors Axe here. We'll have to see what the upgrade looks like a little bit later on.
I just feel like BMT is so happy to get Tiamat.
Allowing some safety in your teammates should CC hit them, depending on which direction you choose to go there. So our eyes on that one. Netrioid down to half HP. Some early skirmishes.
Can't believe Pika juked all that damage.
Panicat goes for the up down. Really just for minion clear here at this point. Now on the other side, one of the gods that I shouted out was Hou-Yi. The desk wondered why we might be seeing this pick here. You know, sometimes once or twice in the crit meta, maybe we would see Hou-Yi come through, but it wasn't all that often. And we see him here now, Mifflin, and a bit of a different starter item on the menu for Pandacat as well.
Yeah, the Shroud has really good upgrades, and for now, should give him a slight benefit insofar as sustain, because Netrioid elects to go for the
BMT as in a big man Tiamat, right?
on his end. Maybe Pandacat's going to try and not pick up the Aussie, but still go for the Transcendence, so he wants to get a little bit of lifesteal somewhere. It's going to be very interesting to see where he goes with this build. We have seen some
Pika could go, if he wants to go late game, he'll go Dom. If he wants to go early to mid game, he'll go Trans.
Crow works, but Pandacat's one to play whatever.
Depends on how much he feels pressure in the early game, I think.
Right? He's not really concerned with the meta.
Look at this from Sanfrecce. It's an early taunt. Variety does not have his dash, and the Jade Dragons, they'll grab themselves first blood over onto the Gilgamesh.
I don't think Harry expected to die there.
And that was how you dealt with Cthulhu way back when he was picked every single game. You want to make sure he's not getting that ultimate off for free. You want to make sure he's
gonna hold it for him?
Just free farm and then become that late game monster.
What a good teammate.
Sanfrecce making his presence known on the right-hand side of the
I guess they didn't invade that because they know he has CP, potentially, and they haven't backed in bot. Actually, no, Sam has
but now
boots.
Sam has to continually find that pressure. Surprised to see the Jade Dragons don't at least attempt to step up and steal.
Maybe they didn't know where PBM was.
That the timers are going to be relatively synced, but instead, realizing that Variety has teleport, doesn't want to take a risky fight, just walks away with first blood.
Genetics grabs a stun onto PBM here, and Twig is there on the follow-up. The Windfire Wheels will lock PBM in place just a little bit longer as the damage there.
Nice
Not just yet. Oh,
Sam's going to pop off here,
Genetics,
though, right?
PBM lives on. Has he bought enough time for the rest of the Jade Dragons to work in and find extra damage? Sanfrecce chases no further. It's a 1-2 punch from Captain.
Oh, that's such a feels bad rotation for Netrioid, man. You rotate all the way mid, you skip your wave 2, and you lose alpha against a Hou-Yi.
Loses out.
Yikes.
A ton of farm.
Don't catch me doing that, bro. I will not be doing that. Good luck in mid, teammates. I'm not skipping my whole wave, bro.
Keep your eyes on PBM. Fafnir's a god that you want to make sure you're at least staying relatively even. He's not out of it just yet. But this could affect how he looks towards his itemization. Sometimes you see these Fafnirs go for a little bit more damage
results?
already.
Dracon Emperor.
Worth mentioning, Mifflin, how rare it is.
New local record.
To see not only an early gank over here in the solo lane, but on Variety. Variety has
not
died in 4 straight SPL games. And before that, if you count the last 6, he's died 1 time in the last 6 games. And there was 1 death in a matchup against the Solar Scales. 0 deaths in the last 4 games. So the fact that the first blood in this game is on Variety is
that's like such a coin flip rotation for Netrioid.
There as well. This guy on the front line has been playing his mind out, and that's helped the rest of this Camelot Kings team find their footing. Blue buff respawning. Sanfrecce is here. Captain Twig is as well. It's going to be a 2v2 early damage over onto Variety, but it's a beautiful lockdown from Captain Twig. The whirlwinds fly on through from Fine OK here. PBM is joining the fray as well. Windfire Wheels locks Fine OK into the sky, but down comes the Gilgamesh. No deaths just yet. PBM not electing to tank up this tower any further, but Genetics has found the freeze. He's found the wall, but Fine OK will leap away.
Genetics still trying to move forward, seeing if maybe he can catch out Sanfrecce, but no one else stepping up with him. That should spell the end of this engagement. If he goes too far forward, could have the eye of the Jade Dragon.
Genetics making so much room right now.
Had Twig waited a little bit longer,
actually absurd. Genetics is making this much room.
Out of his ultimate. They may have been able to find the kill, but instead removes the enemy from the playfield. Cthulhu just has to sit there and spin his wheels.
He literally just solo invaded. Well, not really solo invaded. I mean, he's dead for it, I think.
How much will he pay for the securing of the blue buff on this side of the map? Sanfrecce walks on in. This is a tanky already into this game.
You're not really hating that for the Kings.
So Genetics may be okay there, Mifflin, shredding down just a little bit of gold.
They're relieving pressure off of.
They Does end up going down. Now Sanford Soccer's
off of the Cthulhu and giving Cthulhu a blue buff to this matchup.
There with no
It's feeling pretty good.
An interesting decision to step up. Hurrywin was still in mid. There was no way that he was going to be able to get there in time and help out. Just a strange blue buff invade attempt.
Yeah, I mean, he gets mids too, right? Because Hurrywin and they get Gorp.
To catch up and farm.
Yeah, that was definitely worth for Kings. If they got both mids and Gorp. Oh, nice bounce by PCAP.
Druid and PandaCat have been left alone over here in the duo lane for a little while. That's allowed PandaCat to grab about a 1-level lead. We'll use the ultimate just to clear out that wave. Interested to see how this Hou-Yi continues to work throughout the rest of this game. Some
definitely adds Cthulhu. You're loving that, I think. Having a blue buff for the enemy.
So that's something to look out for. Should objectives get started up by the Camelot Kings on the left-hand side of the map, PandaCat likely able to have something to say about it. PBM looking for a red buff invade. Unsuccessful. Unless he was able to grab the side camps. Big man Tings just going to work his way away there. PBM maybe did not grab the red buff.
Weird that Sam didn't go mid there and pressure.
But still some action maybe in the mid lane.
PBM definitely wanted to pressure the team out with no jump.
Found the stun and there's no mana.
Yeah, kind of crazy that
Captain Twig Genetics lurking close by.
Didn't go mid.
Right back through from Twig here. Wall up and down from Genetics. And PBM will usher his mid laner away.
Twig immediately uses the Windfire Wheels to get himself out of there. Now Genetics too far forward, caught by the Winds of Shamash.
And look at the collapse here from the Jade Dragons. Captain Twig left alone amongst 4. And Hurrywin picks up his first kill of the game. Variety rotates on over from solo lane. He goes big here, looking for a little damage on the back end. PBM has the D-transform, but
weird all by Harry as well, I think.
In his rotation to the mid lane.
Zero value of that descent into madness instead. Maybe dissuades a little bit of aggression, but sticking around is Genetics. Takes a lot of his damage. Variety trying to finish off PBM. Can he do it?
Oh my! Here he got baited so hard.
Another, and this
this ain't good. I think we also walled the ring bounce at the very, very, very beginning of that fight.
Area where Final K has been able to rotate in and find some value for his movements here. He's impacted 100% of the kills so far.
Oh, he had to go trans, by the way.
Keep digging in their heels. They keep stepping up to take these fights, even after they lose out on these small skirmishes.
Are calling my cat today? No, I'm not.
Any ground. It's giving the Jade Dragons a lot of time to make these rotations. Final K shows up actually 20.
Yeah, I mean that rotation earlier, Netroid has been kind of behind the whole time from it.
Just because the Camelot Kings are kind of just sticking around in these fights a little bit longer than they should be. Now, 8 minutes in, closer to 9, 5 and 1 is the slash line, and Golden XP should be swinging in favor of the Dragons.
I mean, King's team comp definitely is still very strong, but their execution, I mean, that mid fight was just bad.
So strong, I think they can just wait it out a little bit longer.
Kind of just bad.
Something the pacing will soon dictate. We know that the Jade Dragons like to play this way. PBM looked at by Captain Twig and a few others in the mid lane here, but he'll be able to leap away. How about this Fafnir pick? I did not expect to see Fafnir first picked overall, but over this past weekend, Mifflin, since the restart, this pick has not only found some value, but plenty of pick ban priority. I'll let you gather your thoughts on that one, as there's a Windfire Wheels over on the Sanford Soccer transformation from PBM as well. Winds of Shamash will keep Twig
out right where he is. Didn't hit too.
Final adds another assist.
I think we win this 3v2, right?
Flank. Big man Tings finds Sanford Soccer, but the fight continues.
Then Hurrywin has to flicker away here. Variety and Genetics pour the damage into the Merlin.
Literally loves this fight.
Able to get some value out of this descent into madness, and he sure does. Big man Tings on 3, and Final
Netroid loves rotating.
But the cavalry's here as Netroid makes his way from the left side of the map. It's all but a deicide here. Camelot Kings right back in it.
4 for 0, and they'd cleared out the Pyromancer just a couple minutes ago, taking a team fight inside mid.
Yeah, I mean, fighting into a team at Cthulhu, Ymir in a 3v3.
All along, 10
I don't know what 3v3 you would ever want to potentially win that 3v3.
It comes to fruition. The Kings able to pull ahead here, but it's not that far. 500 experience,
I don't know.
100 gold.
I don't know what 3v3 is stronger than that if they have all their buttons and you're already deep in their jungle. That's a strong 3v3 for that fight situation.
Starts to stack up those kills, the golden experience just flowing through the mid lane, and then Final K even in that conversation as well. But the fact that Big Man Tings was
BMT's huge now. 2 levels up.
in that fight is
It's about to be the BMT show. Netroid has rotated twice and is now down 2 levels. But I don't know if his rotation impacted anything there. I mean, he got a kill, I'm pretty sure. Or got the last hit. I don't know if it realistically impacted the fight.
Is at her best when she can play that aggressive style. Big Man Tings is going to be the focal point for his team in these next coming team fights. Watch him. If he's able to close gap on a Hurrywind or Panda Cat, he can play that dive roll with the rest of his squad, and then all of a sudden, the Camelot Kings draft.
I really don't know what 3v3 you would want
look back
in
exactly
mid support or solo that would be stronger than this 3v3 they're taking right now.
And a quick burst of damage to follow up. And it's moments like this where you see Big Man Tings re-engaging in on the fight and then the up-down Mifflin.
Like, Tiamat literally loves that fight.
To be willing and able to jump into those fights to find max value on a pick like this, and Big Man Ting's definitely doing so. I think Big Man Ting's unfairly.
Yeah, I think Netroid's down a level now. He was down 2, but I think some people split farm with Pcat.
Towards the top.
I guess PBM's splitting with Pcat right now. Jax also just sacks his farm. He sacks his farm for BMT.
Had to play as that role player, just kind of filling the slot, surrounded by these stars, but now here on the Camelot Kings, he really has come into his own. He's been that aggressive player, consistently finding fruition on his engagements, always farming up effectively, and now here he's trying to prove it up against the Jade Dragons, and already 2 levels up on Hurrywind. I think he's making a great argument for himself.
We've seen plenty of action, Miff, over on the right-hand side of the map so far, and only Netroid rotating over into that fight to get the 4th and final kill is the action that we've seen from the Hunter so far here into this game. That's opened up Panda
Clouds to right on.
Online, stacked up,
it'd be kind of cool to do some a movement ability, but I kind of like him as like a burst
and
mobile god.
See a little bit more emphasis on left.
We should do, but right now neither.
Yeah, PBM is a little greedy with his farm, I would say.
Slightly favoring Panda Cat at this point. Team fight presence should be favoring Panda Cat as well, as he's got the fantastic AoE ultimate to create a no-play zone around these objectives. But Netroid's damage cannot be slept on. Chiron's early to mid-game cannot be slept on here in Season 8. So I think it's going to come down to which squad is able to find an early rotation, an early gank to just slip the fight slightly in their favor. Keep your eyes on the junglers here. Twig has not made any qualms trying to get involved here, not made any issues being willing to trade out his life for any single bit of ground he can gain.
Build alternate timeline in mid?
Wouldn't be surprised if that's where we started off.
Twig has shot up right now. Couple of times. 2 out of 5 affected kills for the Camelot Kings jungler. SPL affecting 6 out of 6. So the Circuit has been in the fray.
So double Sunder for the front line of Dragons.
In this game. Twig
not sure what PBM's second round is going to be. Then we have a sprint for Ymir.
For the rest of the kills that we're
also, Beads.
See this great migration over to the left-hand side of the map now.
Beads TP for Harry, and Pcat already has kin size.
But both junglers starting to show some face.
Pcat might just demolish Harry in these fights.
Find an early engage, but just taking a peek and backing away, not wanting to force the issue, especially
like Pcat literally might just eat him alive.
Early game objective looming.
And this is an interesting build that SPL elects to go for. Normally, when we see Circuit locked in, it's an Chile first overall, but instead, Jotun's Wrath for a little bit of penetration, some CDR, and then immediately into Magi's Blessing.
I want to kick him in the tower so bad.
Draft on the side of the Kings. I like it. It's not a ton of survivability, but it's going to help him out mightily once these team fights start off proper. Circuit has to dedicate her body to use that ultimate. Really opens you up to CC. Well, now you got to burn through the Magi's and Beads before you're able to chase him out.
There's a small window here, Mifflin. Looking at
Tiamat.
Excuse me, is 2 levels.
Tiamat.
So in 50 seconds, there will be a frenzy ready to go as well as a Sunder. But Sprint gets used by Genetics, the only relic he's got over in the mid lane. That'll help Captain Twig
shield.
leave this fight. Ever so important to get Twig out of that one alive. The Windfire wheels got used, albeit likely defensively there. That's maybe a bit of team fighting.
Depends on how much Pika gets farm Fita.
Should the Jade Dragons want to force the issue?
They also play around their backline a lot of times in fights, or at least PBM does. I think PBM is the biggest diver. I guess he is on certain picks, but most of the time I think he's a facilitator in the fight.
Had they known it, could have used that time to move in towards the Gold Fury. The Pyro
There's no
Mancer
school
itself,
built on Goga
while
yet.
they have this advantage state.
Wait, like
Keep
normally?
your
I
eyes
don't
on the
know.
Soul Laners, Dave. Once Variety starts rotating out, or fine, okay, that's really going to indicate that these teams are looking to take a true fight around these objectives. As of right now, neither one feeling confident enough to force that engagement.
No, it
Instead,
doesn't.
It still is just waiting
Who
for
says
that
that proc on
opportunity,
Hachi
waiting
one?
for that pick to open
Oh,
up the
thank.
door.
They did show face
I would
just
assume
a
not.
minute ago over towards the mid lane. Now both go back on their own respective blue buff sides. Not even respective. Final K is going to take a bit of a journey here. Look if he can proxy out a wave. Same for Variety. That'll allow them.
Oh, I don't know that,
basically
Pat, actually.
rotate over should they need. Genetics
Good question.
with the sprint, and that's something we mentioned over in the mid lane fight. We
Alright,
saw
both
just a minute
Solar's
ago.
proxying. I
But
assume we're going to
sometimes
group
it
in and
would
have a
seem
little
here
gold fight,
pick up
maybe,
something
or
like
just
a
take
Blade
back amps.
early on here, and some of these games added for extra viability over there in the duo lane. Look for some blink engagements. But the sprint recently, I'd argue more recently, has been seeing more play as far as the first relic goes on these Ymir picks.
Yeah, I was so surprised that Heavenly Agility hasn't been really valued much back in Season 7, Season 8, but now that haste at a
Only
fortune
gives
team,
abilities
Soul
or auto
using
spark
it
as well?
well
Okay.
could be very effective
Thank you.
up against PBM as well as Hurrywin. It should get a lot of value going forward, going to help out a lot with not only the engagement.
Alright, we have
also
a
the
girdle.
disengage against gods like Cthulhu.
Pretty standard for
and
Fafnir to
that
get
is
girdles
how to
under, I would say.
slowly walk you down with their CC. Heavenly Wings should just get you out of his effective range pretty easily.
Maybe a bit of a clash here happening around the Gold Fury. Variety has joined the fight. Fino K is working back behind as
the
well. It's a
walls on
wall
the other
that
side.
separates this one by Genetics. You got to watch out for this Gilgamesh, Mifflin. We'll be able to talk about it in just a moment. We've seen this pick out of the jungle so often, but Fino K piloting it out of the solo lane here. Found some good value so far. Again, mentioning 6 out of 6 kills affected by the Gilgamesh out of the solo lane. And looks like no fight will happen, and both teams are happy to separate here in the mid.
No,
Dude,
neither
BMT
team
just gets
still
so
has
big.
Found that opportunity. Genetics and Variety eking their way forward, just trying to spot out the rotations, let their team know where Fino K, where Hurrywin is headed. But for now, again, it's just both squads.
Yeah, we're double
So
spiking on
tight
Mage and
at
AC
this
right now.
point
We
in
just
the
finished
game,
Soul
like
Gym and XE.
500-ish gold
We can definitely
separating
force
them.
that gold fight if we want to.
Largely equalized as well.
Hurry
So
isn't
just
back, Jay. He's backing
being
now.
a
But I
big
don't
man
know
takes
if
who is
we
still
can force the
2
window.
levels up.
Oh, Hurry
It's not that
stayed?
massive at this point. Still, it is an advantage, but one that's hard to utilize. So for now, it still is just waiting for that late game phase. Seems like both.
I have
teams
Kings
are
2-0 or
confident in
Kings
their ability
2-1
to
this set.
fight come late, so neither one is going to take the risky plays now.
Well, Hurrywin hasn't gone back to base in a little while, but as we stand right now, mirrored builds out of the mid lane, except Big Man Tings has an entire soul gem over
Yeah,
Hurrywin.
I think we just forced this fight. Hurry has to
You
back.
have to imagine there's at least a couple tiers of an item ready to go there. The
Looks like they
Nephilim
know.
not that disparate, maybe just shy of 1,000 or so. So something to
They're not
look
full
at.
committing. Harry did
Things
TP for
want to
this.
fight here, want to jump in, find some burst damage, and the burst damage is onto the Gold Fury right now, and the Jade Dragons attempting to respond, but not quick enough.
Yep.
And after all the tugging
The
and pulling
TP
we
is
saw
just
going on,
insurance
the
in
back
case
and
they
forth,
fight.
the showing face and then leaving, the Jade Dragons not quick enough to reply to the Fury, and the Camelot Kings will get it for free.
What? What?
Forced out
No
by
way his jump got
Cat, caught on
taken.
his jump, lands
Okay,
down,
okay,
and
okay.
then goes back up. Has to use his ultimate to create some
Oh, the
space,
wall!
but not enough.
Oh, the Aegis here is going to be fruitless, and Netru
I thought he got the
second
Hui
kill
bug.
of the game. That's about as easy as it gets for the Camelot Kings. You grab a Fury, you rotate to left, there's a Hunter still there,
Sam?
and now Sanford Soccer is caught out in the
Oh,
jungle.
no way,
Variety
that reached.
descends into madness.
Oh!
Sanford Soccer attempting
No
to escape.
way.
The Blink will get used to survive. Sanford Soccer
Unlucky.
alive on the map, but not alive in this fight. Genetics locked
Okay,
in
Harry's
place.
like fragging their
by
back
Fino
line
K,
there.
and the Jade Dragons able to trade
If
back.
Picat's not alive, Harry
Man,
can't really
Variety
die.
choked the kill, and Sam for Soccer, thankful for it, is able to get on out of there. That is an ADC for support trade. Gonna favor the Kings.
Yeah, that
here.
bug's literally
Or rather,
happened,
the Jade
what,
Dragons
since
going
they
forward.
changed
Now
his
the Camelot
jump?
Kings have the tough task of disengaging. Sam for Soccer rejoins the fight from base, but not in time to chase out any kills. Tough one there, man. You gotta find those kills. Had Variety been able to pick that one up, it would have been opening the door for the Pyromancer pretty expeditiously. Could even look towards the Giant itself. Unfortunate.
I think
shot
Picat thought his
there.
jump
Camelot
got
Kings.
taken, so he
Dragons
ulted the
might still want
ground.
the Pyromancer here, but the
Instead of
Camelot
jumping
Kings
and then
ready
ulting
to
the
it. There's
ground.
a ward down in the FG pit. This is the type of objective where the Jade Dragons.
Yeah, you can CC'd like on your way up.
Variety not happy with that though. get a little damage onto SPL. And look at this, the Camelot Kings will immediately work in, pull the objective for themselves. The Jade Dragons might show some face here, but BaRRaCCuDDa separating SPL out. Looks like the Pyromancer for free over to the Camelot Kings. Down and kills Mifflin, but effectively means nothing here as the Camelot Kings continue to find these objectives.
To the contrary, it's the Camelot Kings who have established themselves the largest lead so far this game. 21 minutes in, and we're looking at about 3,000 gold, 4,000 experience. That's going to be very useful. BMT
Wasn't that Freezen hit Sam?
Mana, but has enough to peel out for Genetics. Jade Dragons, if they are able to force anyone back to base with the composition that they have, should be able to shred objectives relatively quickly.
Oh yeah, you had to charge up Ricochet.
As well as the burn potential that Hurrywin has.
Metroid going Rage, I like it.
All add up to a very quick objective.
Big fan. Alright, so I gotta peep.
The slightest opportunity. The Camelot Kings seem cognizant of that. That's why they've had so much emphasis on creating space around these objectives. Every single time they step up to the Gold Fury of the Pyromancer, it's Genetics or BaRRaCCuDDa, sometimes even both, just W-king as deep as they can in the Jade Dragon's jungle, just face checking it. And if nobody's there, the Camelot Kings, time and time again, have just walked away with these objectives. The Jade Dragons certainly feeling that pressure.
And if we still haven't seen any of those big back and forth scraps where the Hunters have been heavily involved, Netroid has sniped out a couple of kills, one dive onto PandaCat where PandaCat really stood no chance. And it might look like PandaCat's an entire item behind, but he has upgraded his starter item here, whereas Netroid forewent what we're assuming will be a Bluestone Brooch at some point and has gone Rage in his final spot, so about even as far as Hunter items go here. Maybe what we expected to see out of PandaCat there, Mifflin, the ability to burn down some of those tanky targets with the kin size early in the build.
Yeah, that's going to help out a lot up against this Cthulhu. Goes for a pretty health-heavy build, as well as just being a large, immobile target. Means that he's going to have a very easy time fighting that damage. And with Mark of the Golden Crow and how that works, the lower HP.
Yeah, I think like season 2 or 3.
Auto attack's going to do. So PandaCat going to be great at tank shredding anyone who gets CC'd in front of him. And the CC core of the Jade Dragons is pretty good. Fine, okay with a drop kick. Should be able to stun someone for about a second and a half. Even BBM with a single target, finds a hammer, finds the Sunder, should be able to shred him away pretty easily as well. But it's all single target CC on the side of the Dragons. Not a lot of AoE team fight presence.
What about Picat's gonna build next?
Hurrywin has been able to go back, finish his Soul Reaver here. Some of that AoE presence will be taken
probably
down.
Oboe?
High health targets that the Camelot Kings have as well. Big Man Tings has upgraded his starter item here. Hurrywin has not been able to do so. Look at the way though, we'll go back to that thought. The Camelot Kings positioning themselves around this FG. PandaCat is going to be the first one in to find out. Remember, we talked about the steal potential that this Hou Yi might have. Hurrywin forced to use
nice job by Twig. Really hunted Hurry so well there.
The Windfire wheels. Down comes the Merlin, but the Aegis will save his life. But not for long. But it's junglers trading out kills with one another. Netroid's down. Hurrywin, same for him as well. Jade Dragons grouped up here in between the Camelot Kings.
BMT can still hard carry this fight.
Dragons realizing they have to match the dive and now regroup. They're looking to step forward.
Genetics found Piccat.
Isolated, but it's just Genetics, and you don't win that 1v1.
Whoa!
Wait, Piccat or BMT hunted TBM?
Continuing his chase. Captain Twig trying to escape from this fight.
Yeah. I'll say if BMT went towards Piccat there, I'm pretty sure they'll just hard win that fight.
Camelot Kings winning one.
It's literally just like 1v1s across the board here.
Big Man Tings not giving up the chase, but PBM has something else in mind. It's a lonely Tiamat with BaRRaCCuDDa up against 3 of the Jade Dragons.
Surprised to see that they're not willing to chase out.
What's the relic situation? BMT has
Soccer.
Aegis, we use 7,
yeah, that's such an intelligent play from the Dragons there. Immediately,
he didn't have relics for that fight.
Solos Hurrywin. I mean, he did it all. That was outplay City. Just walks him down. The Hurrywin fear beads off the sash, flickers away immediately, has to walk back in because he doesn't create enough space.
Netroid kind of got womboed there.
And Twig holds it out the entire time, waiting for that Windfire wheels. And
this live, yeah.
The air of BaRRaCCuDda's there to help him finish off that kill.
But just go Windy and sell boost him for DB because low crit chance.
No way we peel him out.
I think if you don't have more name in your build, you should have Rage.
Dire need of him. So instead, they dive into the Camelot Kings backline to separate the fight.
It was kind of zero fuel for Netroid in that fight. He kind of just got dunk squad by Sir Ken Giggle.
Looking for a win of their own here around this Fury. It's Oni Fury this time. Jade Dragons close by, and Camelot Kings will get the Fury. but is it for free? FineOK wants that answer to be no, as he'll drop the Gilgamesh ultimate down.
Oh, the poison spread, that's huge.
Genetics and Netruoid, duo lane for the Kings. They're gone here. SamForSoccer being looked at by one of the minions of Big Man Kings' team at his Variety. Down low here, the Jade Dragons continue searching for yet
Twig trying to like buy time,
nice
like buy
stun,
space
but
here.
not enough to get out of there.
Twig is actually playing this really well. Yeah, he bought a lot of time there. But now they can just push, and Harry doesn't have TP.
Removed for the next 20 or so seconds, and that's a lot of time to work with. SamForSoccer has to head back to base, with the rest of the Jade Dragons relatively healthy.
Big Man Ting's in a position where he can
Our Fire Giant DPS is low with the Hui build. They do have a Merlin.
By the Jade Dragons. This is a good confidence check for the Jade Dragons. The Pyromancer is available, but they do not care. They will go for the FG instead, a few minutes shy of the enhanced Fire Giant. Variety lurks around the corner, but look at the health shred that the
But he got not jumping in there? Crazy.
As Polar Bear Mike will eat about half of his HP, he'll leap away, but it looks like Big Man Tings and Variety enough of a threat to force the Jade Dragons back.
And
that's crazy they don't get fire there.
Respawn as well. Camelot Kings get routed.
Actually crazy they don't get fire there.
Efforts of BMT are able to remain afloat, keep that biggest objective alive.
I wonder if they didn't chase down the mid tier too and just instantly win fire if they got it.
Looking at the giant itself.
Well, the tug of war over the FG continues.
We don't have like great secure. We're gonna come in with the freeze.
Dragons have a chance
oh, they got it.
They will not. The Fire Giant.
Netruoid getting a hard no again.
He's fine. Right where he's at. SamForSoccer escapes over onto the right-hand side. Variety melted down by PandaCat, but there's a double stun on the backline as the damage has found the
still going back in?
Dragons, but none of it can
this fight's crazy.
Big Man Tings finds the leap, but SamForSoccer finds the killing spree.
I mean, any kills that Dragons get here is sick.
For the Rampage is the Tiamat.
Oh my gosh. Oh no, BMT's literally gonna pog off, bro.
Big Man Tings can do whatever he wants. Double kill as he puts down Polar Bear Mike, and he's gonna keep on jumping in. PandaCat better stay on the retreat. Big Man Tings on the hunt.
They're diving Netruoid so hard in every fight.
He's got a soul gem, yeah, sure. And a little lifesteal in the boots, but this Tiamat had to burn the relics, has been untouched. It's a 2-for-2 trade, but you gotta look at the Camelot Kings. Getting the FG is the big difference maker here in this fight. There'll be a tier 1 tower that goes down as well.
BNT is late free casting. They're diving Netruoid so hard in every fight.
Like the Jade Dragons,
literally just smorking Netruoid.
And then re-engage back in. It's really what made a big difference.
I know that the damage.
I assume they'll just want to get all the towers off the map, maybe get gold again with this fire. I don't think they'll be able to push a Phoenix.
But legitimately, throughout that team fight, Big Man Tings
don't think they're going to feel that confident, especially with Netruoid not having relics or a Fire Giant anymore.
We're unwilling to hit him. He was legitimately free casting in their face the entire team fight.
You can definitely dive team out.
Of course, he's going to find a double kill if you allow him that much freedom. And Big Man Tings is not the type of player that you can do that against. He's not the type of player to miss out on.
I wouldn't even say like Netroid's like too out of position in these fights. They're just playing for him so hard.
9 minutes into the game, have a 7,000 gold lead up against the Jade Dragons with 3 tier 2 towers left standing. That's 3 tier 2 gold caches left standing to be taken.
Right. On the left-hand side, a stiff breeze from going over, so one minion wave finds its way on the left side of the map here, and the Jade Dragons have an exposed.
Oh, that was so close.
Walk up and auto attack it a couple of times, should he so choose. My man, Big Man Tings, is putting on a clinic here, 6-0-2, and we'd wondered, you know, it's one of those.
No, you can definitely dive Tiamat.
Early on, Tiamat was pretty consistently banned.
100.
Okay, it was 3 auto attacks. Okay, 4 auto attacks. I got it a little bit wrong there, but Genetics got it down nonetheless.
I mean,
for a while there,
we could YOLO like a Cthulhu ult to make space for the Chiron, but I think we just get all towers, right?
Because of plays like this, players like this, Big Man Tings at 6-0-2 has taken this game over for the Camelot Kings. FineOK at 4-1-10 is going to be a big driving factor in finding that backline and giving this.
We don't care about solo tower. We're just going to keep poking this Phoenix. But Netroid, no Fire Giant.
Good on the side of the Dragons, at least insofar as their
the relics are back up.
Is going to have a very easy time outputting poke. On
maybe we feel comfortable in the 4v4 knowing Sam's going to go mid.
The no play zone ultimate.
Cthulhu can make a ton of space, but he's not like the tankiest against that Hui build.
Forward, as well as the CC core. Even FineOK, once the game simplifies in a defensive state like this, should be able to find a high value ultimate. But already, Panicat using his, raining down
That's
the
pretty good
Suns
trade.
a little
How long
bit
do we have
too
fire for?
early. Camelot Kings immediately just walk on out, takes maybe 1 tick of damage.
Captain Twig
Is that
alone here.
120 until fire
Drop
wears
kick back
off?
against the wall,
Oh.
immediately turns around with the Windfire wheels. And look at the shielding that is assisting Captain
Okay,
Twig and keeping him in.
beats.
The rest of this fight, another shield falls on him. That's thanks to the starter item upgrade there from BaRRaCCuDDa. Final K
We
has
got
to leave,
Cthulhu.
no frontline remaining.
Basically every ult's
Except
down
for
right now.
BBM, who has to leave as well. The mid lane Phoenix looking healthy.
We're going left. We're rushing
does as
left.
Well, but BaRRaCCuDDa, he de-transformed
We
to
got
the
wall
middle of the
here.
Dragons
The wall
here.
was
Great
not
wall from
great.
Genetics.
Oh, good.
Keeps him in the
Good
fight a
button by
little bit longer.
Hurry.
It does. I'm pretty sure that wall saves BaRRaCCuDda's life.
No
BBM was
relics,
on the
wow.
chase and looking for the stun.
Can't believe Sam didn't get a
Chase
relic there with that
continues.
blink.
Jade Dragons
Good
keep
discipline
moving
by
forward,
Netroid.
but not much needed to be done. Camelot Kings immediately sent back to base. Fire Giant wears off. No way they can keep that Phoenix Siege going. Instead, it's about this next
So
Fire
we get
Giant.
the
But
primal
10,000
here.
gold
We don't
down.
get Solo
Jade
Tower,
Dragons
but I
have to
mean,
make a
that's
hard
fine.
decision. Do
We
they
tried to
want
get that Phoenix really
step up
hard,
to the
but we
neutral
couldn't
objective
get it at
or
the end of the
reprise
day.
their performance on the Phoenix?
Look, that's about as best as you can hope for there, isn't it? If you're the Jade Dragons, where you repel a couple attempts at an attack, and then you have to look at where do we stand in the game? Because you look up at the scoreboard, you've got a massive gold lead, 12,000 or so for the Camelot
Bark.
Kings after all those towers go down. 13,000 in the XP department. That doesn't mean as much here. Polar Bear Mike, the last player in this game to not.
Okay, so we're down
20, but
12,000
he's
for
able to afford
Dragons.
the starter item upgrade. Everyone outside.
That's a
couple
bit
tier 2 items
chunky of a
on
deficit, I'll be
build, so
honest.
it's really those elixirs, the power pots.
Oh, dude,
They
BMT is literally
can
6
see that
items.
Gold department. BaRRaCCuDDa gets stunned here. He's
Nice
gotta be
wall by
careful. Panicat
Genetics.
is effectively a chainsaw at this point in this game. If BaRRaCCuDDa gets caught out at all, then Panicat likely makes quick work of that Cthulhu health bar.
Now the Jade Dragons, not unlike my dog.
Gaia
defend
plus
their
Chiron
tools
passive.
And trying to defend the home front. Fire Giant is.
We
being
got
looked at
Fap
by
Jump.
the
Can we do
Camelot Kings,
anything?
but
We're
has
gonna
not been
poke it a
started
little
up.
bit. I
Genetics
assume we're not full
now
committing or
pulling
anything.
Enhanced Fire Giant.
They're definitely not
33
full committing. We're
minutes in,
definitely
should
looking
be
for the
able
fight.
To strip away the
Our
defense
warding
of
isn't
backdoor
great if they have a
protections
ward
these
there.
days. Jade Dragons do not want to have to contend with that.
Jade Dragons need to defend this FG, not unlike your dog defending the homestead there for you. And they will show some face here, but look how close Big Man Tings is standing. One big volley of damage.
We're trying to force him, yeah, we're trying to force him into that funnel.
We saw
I think they literally just pinged the funnel.
One team on the front foot, the other team on the back.
Okay, look like they've gotten into a
Back in,
position
the Jade
here.
Dragons here to try to find an engage.
Or
Fire
Kings
down
have gotten
the
into a
right, BBM
position
on the left,
here.
half HP
But they
now.
gave up
On
the
fast here,
position.
Everyone in this game has got their ultimate.
They had him
ready to
forced
go.
into that
Actives
funnel.
down on either
They don't want to
side,
full
but
commit to fire, I
Camelot
assume.
Kings slightly
They're always
healthier
looking to
in
take the
that
fight
part.
here.
Woodwin gets caught out. He's got no beads. It's half HP as the Fire Giant has continued.
That's
to
our
be worked
girdle.
on.
We're gonna look to
Mike
sunder the
Lodge
Cthulhu as
defense
well
here.
once the
Camelot
fight
Kings
actually
trying to
starts. Sam has a
disengage and allow
really
that
good flank
active
here.
time to wear off, and it looks like they've done so, but San
They're
Francisco
kiting
nicely,
really
BPM
nicely.
immediately follows up, but the Jade Dragons will not follow up.
Kind of insane discipline here by Kings. Wait, Netroid ulted? Wait, Netroid ulted for what? Oh, that's so weird,
Netroid. Hold
Netroid.
down their S keys, drags them out. It's that lack of
Oh, BMT got caught?
on their side.
They found
Oh, it looks
Tings
like
on
Sam-
right-hand
Oh,
side.
the poison
Perfect
spreader
target.
too!
It's the first death of the
This
game
might be winnable.
for Big Man Tings. Genetics immediately trades one back. Netroid, he's got to leave the rest of this fight. Panicat starting to work
Oh,
some damage
nice
on Captain
ult.
Twig alone, but he's found the
Nice
Windfire
ult by
wheels. Hurry
Twig.
with that down. He
He
should
literally
win,
won the
but it's
fight
Captain
for him.
Twig who puts him in the dirt.
Hurry, had both the
Sway his
relics.
variety
No,
in the descent into
hurry.
madness, trying to chase down Panicat. Genetics.
Oh
The
no,
Camelot Kings
Hurry
take
getting
this
hit by a Nosh ult with
BaRRaCCuDDa
beads.
so patient with that ult,
Unlocker.
just waiting until the Jade Dragons use
Oh,
all their tools.
that's
That mobility
sad.
is down. You better believe he's going to be descending.
I'm surprised that fight went that bad with Sam and Final K getting that
able to walk away from him.
that good of a
Camelot
flank
Kings
off.
Walk away from the fight with Fire Giant on 4. Big Man Ting's going to rejoin the ranks of his teammates in about 15 seconds. Better think that he's going to step up to these Phoenixes as well. 30 seconds left on Hurrywind, 30 on
Yeah, I'm
Panicat.
real surprised that
That's
went
so
that bad
much
for
time
them.
the Kings
I
to
mean, you
work
get EFG on 4.
You know, it feels tough there.
There's a potential we could have waited for BMT there, but most likely not. We're just gonna push right. Oh, we're not gonna go to the Phoenix?
The Camelot Kings did, but it's a
Well, my team would want to go to the Phoenix there.
favor of the Camelot Kings. Big Man Tings was the only one who ends up going down, which Myth when you
Yeah,
figure
my
is
team
the
would
best
definitely-
target, right? I
we'd
mean,
be
you
smorking
wanna
that
jump
Phoenix
on
for
this team
sure.
out, you've got to get it out of the fight. But despite all that, the rest of the Kings were able to turn things around there. And now fully reinforced with...
Alright, so we're selling boots for Berserkers for Netroid. Interesting. But not bad, I don't hate it here. Because he has been hard though by the Serket and Gilgamesh.
When they were able to push back a couple of attempts at the Phoenix is just
Yeah, no, I mean, sometimes
put on.
I feel like sometimes
Camelot Kings
Naja
fan, you
ult is
need
unbeatable
Netroid
online.
to step up now. Enhanced Fire Giant.
Like,
33
if you're like
minutes in,
casting a
Netroid is
button
struggling to find
online
his damage output onto enemy
and you
gods.
get hit by
Now
Naja
all
ult,
he
I
has to
swear
do
if you
is make
spam
contact
beads,
with
it
these
just doesn't go
structures.
off.
4, 5, 6 auto attacks should be all it takes. To
Like,
shut
sometimes
down
I feel
one
like
of
you're
the
stuck in your
Phoenix's
cast
here.
/ like post cast of your ability and you just can't
Pretty easy,
beat.
right? Drop a wall, separate the fight, and just open up the door to siege out the base. Keep your eyes on Netroid. It's up to him.
Yeah, Dragons had that window early game where they had a nice lead, and then they fought that 3v3 on low side solo mid camps, and since then, I think Kings have been in full control, especially BMT. BMT just got so large off that fight. They got like 2 levels up, I think.
There's some Tiamat minions on the right-hand side that allow that wave to push in.
But, I mean, sieging a Phoenix with EFG as a Cthulhu Ymir, like, you have to be loving that.
But Sam4Soccer is not happy with that. Sam4Soccer wants the 1v1. Captain Twig does not.
Oh, you got Hui ult too? Oh, no. This should be a free siege. No Hui ult, no, Circuit ult. Twig can just heal up with EFG and his 2. Oh, maybe not, actually. Oh, Netroid rotated mid, he dashed over?
1v1,
Oh, oh.
Evens the odds now for the Jade
Unlucky?
Dragons. He jumps in, but he will not jump out.
Look, we're still loving this fight as Kings.
Okay, right where he's at. Variety goes.
We're
big
rushing
here.
right
Sam4Soccer
Phoenix now.
Back to base. Netroid sensing this right side Phoenix is low. Remember the Tiamat minions were working their way down the right hand side. In this
Oh,
Phoenix,
Netroid! You gotta hit it one more. Okay.
Just a minute.
Ooh,
Genetics
okay.
Won't have to auto attack it this time as Netroid.
No, I mean, we don't have a wave in right
For a
side
second there, it looked
forever.
like Netroid was just going to walk away from it at like 5
was
HP.
nervous.
Kind of freaked me out for a second there.
I think Variety thought the fight
Eventually
was
snapped back
way
up and finished off
more
that right-hand side. And now Captain
happening
Twig,
than it
after
was, I
skirmishing
guess,
with
if that makes
Sam4Soccer
sense.
For so long, is about It's going to be a little while until he gets that mana back from Fire Giant. Well, Sam has a fountain nearby. He doesn't have to worry about that.
That's right, my man, Big Man Tings, has got 33,000.
Twig is kind of
37 minutes into this game, 7,000 higher
We're going mid?
than anyone else.
We're literally
has been a man.
Twig in the 1v1, I guess?
Man would say they're on the front line, and he's been doing it consistently, and that's where the Jade Dragons will have to look here. But Sam4Soccer, he might have won another 1v1 against Captain Twig. Captain Twig can't fight, no matter what. Even if he doesn't die here, he cannot participate in the rest of this fight. But it looks like he will.
No way,
knock him down.
bro.
He will escape the rest, and the Camelot Kings pushed back from the mid lane once more.
Man, Twig has been dancing with death.
Okay.
Sam4Soccer for
Kings kind of trolling these sieges, I think.
Got no mana.
Feel like they can easily just get that left Phoenix. Like,
and now
once Circuit ult and Hui ulted, if Twig literally just left mid and went to duo Phoenix, and they just 5v5 fought over there, into no Circuit or Hui ult, how do they ever lose that fight? How do they ever not get that Phoenix?
They weren't nearly as far behind as they are now, but 38, 39 minutes.
I feel like I'm not wrong there.
Less and less. Now it's about who's selling boots.
When you do have Oni waves and you have a ton of minions you can throw in left.
With 18,000
But the only way might get clear by the time FG spawns.
In the lead, Camelot Kings should be able to have at least a slight edge coming into this team fight.
It's that extra digit now that we've crossed over into 100,000 gold territory that really throws you off, right, Ed? Because I was immediately going to try to correct you. 19,000. Look, Myth, you are damn close on that one, so I'll give you props. 19,000 gold. The difference here. And yet again, I'll echo an earlier sentiment. The Jade Dragons have to feel confident here underneath their Phoenixes, because that's now back-to-back sieges where the Jade Dragons have looked like the stronger team. The right side Phoenix does go down.
Yeah, I feel like Kings did not play that siege well.
But
that was a pretty easy siege. Once they blow 2 ults, I mean, that's just so easy.
Kings underneath one of these Phoenixes just yet. The Fire Giant will surely help, and that's why the Camelot Kings have started it up.
They're just gonna full commit? No way.
And they are doing it quickly.
If people even find her a little too deep for the full commit. Oh, Twig getting burned. Nice ult by Twig. Gonna full commit a Twig off drop, I guess. Oh, he missed the sash.
All the sash is no good, and Polar Bear Mike is found. Captain Twig, Sam4Soccer looking for more.
That is 100% off the back of phenomenal ult placement from FineOK. Not often is a zoning ult just not a meme. Instead, he drops it to make sure that the Camelot Kings have no way to retreat out of that fight.
I feel like Kings could have fought that.
Captain Twig, with only one option, takes someone up to the air.
Maybe they just hard lose the rest of that fight. If they commit while Twig is in the air and Harry,
instead, it's Twig who dies on landing.
Camelot Kings are down one man.
Yeah, they do have a wave going into left Phoenix. Wait, they can bait, pull them to fire, and then the wave should get left Phoenix. That could be their macro call, but I don't know if their wave is big enough. Oh, it's poking it down. It's poking it down. Does Dragons full commit now? Oh, it did get it. It did. They pulled fire to make them come to fire instead of going to defend left Phoenix. Really good macro call by Kings. Really, really good macro call by Kings. That puts Dragons in such a worse position, even though they won the fight. Because left waves are obviously so much harder to defend. Now Kings can just sit back, wait for someone to go, either defend left wave, or they have to full 5v5 fight at fire and rush it.
Right now,
Looks like PCAT will be the one backing defend. Once they see PCAT, they know EFG is free. Because PCAT is such a big part of their team fight. They can just force... Actually, I guess they have to wait for Team to come over. But I mean, this 5v5 is so free. PCAT is... I mean, they won't see him clearing the next wave, so they should know he's coming over.
And they're a small breeze away from getting it down to half HP.
They should know PCAT's coming. They should know it's a 5v5. Yeah, they're not committing. They're getting out again.
Looking for Captain Twig, potentially, maybe Netrioid. SamForSoccer is going to be hard to duel, maybe one of the more difficult duels to have.
Yeah, now the fire wave is already there, and we have TMM minions in left. They're gonna full commit here. If they're this deep, they're actually gonna full commit. Oh, the Heroes Axe proc. Goodbye, Sir Kettle.
The Camelot Kings have found
nice Sir Kettle, bro. I got Heroes Axe. And now we just chase them down and win the game.
SamForSoccer was only in range to take damage from enemy gods for, what, a second? And the Camelot Kings, with the best reaction time this side of the Mississippi, were able to shut him down so quickly.
Yeah, that Titan's going to take so much damage from this wave. That is a stacker of a wave on their Titan right now. Yeah, dude, they're going to lose the game, bro. They didn't care about the stacker of a wave coming in. What are they doing, bro?
They're trying to fight over that's game. It's game over. The Camelot Kings, they don't even need to fight. The minions are gonna get it done. Are you kidding me? Yeah, they got fire. Great. 43 minutes exactly. The Camelot Kings are able to get the win here over the Jade Dragons. Look, that is almost unfair how that game ends, isn't it? All right, you know what?
It's a good thing we banned Raw. Am I right, chat? Man, it's a good thing we banned Raw.
It sounds like something that needs to get banned out in the next match, doesn't it, right? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Tiamat should not be allowed to have that much presence on the map without even having to dedicate her body to a lane, but that's exactly how it pans out. But the Jade Dragons did not make it easy. 43-minute-long slugfest inside of this one.
Good thing we banned Raw.
No notes. Keep doing it. Both teams playing at a very high level.
Ramsey looks like what I imagine playing against Tiamat minions feels like. I don't know, man. She doesn't have enough weight to keep the old head up on this one. I'll let her continue snoozing instead of bothering her any longer. Game 1 comes to a close, and it's the Camelot Kings behind a massive mid lane performance for Big Man Tings who start this one off with the win. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back for game 2.
Yeah, BMT's God pool is massive. You can't really ban him out. He has very influential picks. Alright, chat, doing some long ads. I'm going to start a marbles race. I'm also going to go heat up some food. I'm kind of hungry again. We'll start a long race. We'll start... Love is in the air. Exclamation word play, chat. Go stretch your legs, chat. Get up and do something.
!play.
Hey there, Smite fans, Aggro here. Look, every single year, the SPL just keeps getting better. Season 7 was incredible, and in Season 8, I'm sure our players are going to take their game to the next level. But in order to do that, they're going to need the best gear they can get their hands on. And that's why I'm so excited to announce that the title sponsor for Season 8 of the SPL is Alienware. Yeah, that Alienware. Our players are getting the best of the best in computer gaming. These Alienware Aurora Ryzen Edition PC setups are insane. Not only will these be the PCs that the players will compete on once we are in studio, but Alienware is also providing one for each player at their home setup to make sure their practice is as good as possible. Now let's get down to brass tacks. The specs on these Alienware Aurora Ryzen Edition desktops are amazing. An AMD Ryzen 9 16-core processor.
That's a lot of cores.
That's plenty of processing power.
Plenty of cores.
If you want to stream, this is the way to go.
I know a lot about my cores, so. I mean, Pilates, right?
64 gigabytes.
Bowl is so hot.
of
Bowl is so
RAM.
hot.
What?
Bowl is so hot.
True?
Oh!
I mean, this thing has 64 gigs.
Ooh. Congratulations, Aeroblast.
Anything with.
Literally anything.
I've never had more than 16 gigs.
That's quadruple the amount I have at home.
And one of the hottest commodities in the PC world, an NVIDIA GeForce 3090 graphics.
That's a lot of cores.
Insane how much better this is than what I have.
The best graphics you really need, Ultra, of course.
Content's gonna look good.
What's the point of all the power if you can't see it?
Are my noodles
Players will
sizzling
also
and
be
steaming?
using the Alienware
Some of them are still
25-inch,
cold.
240 hertz monitors.
Man, when I load into scrims with this bad boy, I'm gonna feed so hard. And it's gonna be in perfect picture quality.
We are so excited to be partnering with Alienware for Season 8 of the Smite Pro League. And the best part is, this VIP treatment
It's not just for the pros. You too can get the best possible.
Makes games so good, several
Just
things.
Go to smitegame.com/Alienware and use code SMITEAW to get special discounts on some of Alienware's best products. Thanks again to Alienware. Make sure you're following them on Twitter and Instagram. That's @Alienware on both platforms. And you can join their community at alienwarearena.com.
And you're telling me an alien wore this?
You're telling me an alien wore this?
I took as many notes
That's
there
what
as
we'll
I
play
could
chat.
from Aggro because everything he said is the stuff I'm supposed to say. So you need to follow them on Twitter and Instagram @Alienware, smitegame.com/Alienware, use code SMITEAW, all that good stuff. And I can tell you, my computer right here, I built it years and years ago. It felt top of the line. Literally everything in the PCs that the pros are using is like at least 2 generations, if not more, than ahead of what I've been able to pick up. These computers are insanely good. Again, smitegame.com/Alienware and code SMITEAW. You want to make sure that you get in on. And thank you again to Alienware for partnering with us here for Smite Pro League in Season 8. And Aggro, I mean, you kind of said it better than I could there. I just had to reiterate all the points you had already made. But it feels like things are going to continue on that route, actually. We're going into the desk here for game number 1, where I'll ideally reiterate the good points that you make. And there feels like a little bit of a whoopsies at the end there. Winions are the thing that end game number 1. Tiamat, big man Tings, on high ping, by the way, just looks too unstoppable on this pick.
Yeah, look, here's the deal. We can sit here and debate all day whether or not Tiamat should be able to spawn minions that push down a lane. That doesn't really concern me in this game. What concerns me is that the Jade Dragons didn't seem to care about it at all and never once played around it. I was just baffled at how poorly they pushed their waves and how little respect they gave over to those Tiamat minions. It's like, I don't know. Yes, that ability is strong. Yes, it does a lot of things. But that's like not buying beads against Ares and then going, oh my god, he can pull me with his ultimate. Yeah, she's gonna get Phoenixes. She's gonna end games. If you don't clear out those minions, it's a huge part of this character's strength. And you didn't play around it. And I think the Jade Dragons did a really poor job of that. Sam had a really good flank to start off that final fight. I think that either he pulled the trigger a little bit too early or the rest of the team just didn't follow up on his initiation. But they had so many fights where I felt like the Dragons could have done so much more. Sam and Fine isolated Big Man Tings on his one death, and they insta-killed him. And Netrioid had already used his ult, and he got the poison spread to him.
Well, Mr. I think so 3, man.
And the Jade Dragons somehow lost that fight. And I have no idea how that ever happens. I think Twig must have gone nuts with the ring toss and had a great ultimate onto Hurwind, who didn't use his relics in time. The front line for the Kings were unbelievable. That Heroes Axe pickup for variety looks preposterous on Cthulhu whenever it's giving max HP shields and you're in the middle of a Cthulhu ult. But at the end of the day, I think the Dragons really had a lot of opportunities to come back and win this game or play around this Tiamat a little bit better, and then they didn't end up doing it. And you got to give credit to the Kings for forcing them into bad spot after bad spot after bad spot, because the Kings played so well in this one.
Well, I'll give the Dragons credit. The good news for them is that their trend of going to 3 games in a set has been pretty on the rise, at least lately. Right?
Right? You are. Oh, nice.
Undefeated up until more recently. And then now, lately, it's been a bunch of 3 games for them, so we'll see if they'll be able to bounce back here. You can see, again, Consternation coming through. As much as we look at it, you can see a lot of mouths not moving. I'm assuming Mike right now is probably doing a lot of the chit-chatting to figure out what's going on, what kind of game plans they need to change. You can see Sam getting some words in on that. The thing that I think is going to be interesting as time moves forward, though, is, as you had kind of highlighted, like the Cthulhu looked really solid for them, even though it didn't necessarily do too much. But the Ymir, the walls from Genetics, countless times saving people on the Kings and killing people on the Dragons. Is that something that you see potentially jumping up into the top 3 bans here?
Potentially, but I think that Mike did a really good job on that Fafnir of initiating these fights, and the Jade Dragons had a lot of mobility.
Swapping the ban order.
Walls, so
Raw first ban.
As good as the walls were, and they were fantastic, I don't think that looked particularly unbeatable to me. I'm looking at, if you're not willing to play around Tiamat better than that, you have to ban it if you're the Jade Dragons. I actually don't think Tiamat's in a spot where she's unbeatable right now.
Yeah.
You just have to play around it pretty well. And clearly that is not potential for the Jade Dragons here in this set. So they make the right call. They ban away that Tiamat. I'm surprised they let Twig get the Najas deep in that draft as they did. I'd be surprised if they didn't make an adjustment centered around that in particular here in these picks and bans.
Last time Umoja, Fenrir both banned out here. Looks like both of those are going to be able to make it through. Same 3 bans from the Kings. The Dragons are the ones adapting to this.
So Umoja open this time.
You had made where Tiamat is beat
Chiron over Umoja.
Weeks of play that she was allowed to play in these games. She lost like everything she was in.
Oh man, Brandon, thanks for the 63, baby. Welcome back, man.
Dominant force.
So now we're saying, will you pick it here, PBM?
Played really well around that.
You picked the Umoja.
Once again, it's a Chiron.
And if you don't pick it, we're picking it next.
Answered by Gilgamesh Fafnir.
Gilgamesh Fafnir?
Similar, and in fact the same, just slightly swapped order there.
Are they just valuing Gilgamesh so highly to take away from Twig?
Yeah, I like this Gilgamesh Fafnir combination. I thought the front line for the Dragons did do a lot of good work in that game. I thought Final K was incredibly impactful on this Gilgamesh. Leaving open the Umoja is the question mark, though. Right?
Yeah, don't know about that one, Chief.
Between Fafnir and Umoja, and Mike goes to the Fafnir instead. If they want to go more auto attack centric, I wouldn't be surprised if they went Soul with this 3rd pick that was banned in the 2nd phase by the Kings. And if you get a Fafnir Coerce with a Gilgamesh who loves to get extra attack speed because of the 1 stim, with your typical Hunter who loves to get that attack speed stim, and then a Soul that can really shred through some of this front line and the objectives, I think that would combine pretty well for the Dragons.
Well, they liked it so much last time.
They liked the Cthulhu and the Gilgamesh matchup, I assume. Could be Gilgamesh jungle this time, though.
Enough that they top 3 it alongside that Umoja, and I guess this is something to be said. I mean, you had mentioned not only the build that Cthulhu had, giving off the shields, especially when he's in his ult, and how big they were and helpful they were for the Kings. But alongside
Heroes X is pretty good here in the Fafnir and Gilgamesh.
For the Kings, it's going to be very difficult to
so Kings, in theory, could be thinking right now, as long as we get the late game with this Heroes X, we can't really lose.
Mobility between these 2 frontliners, and then of course the ability to.
And they already have like a protect backline comp with Umoja.
And that Umoja healing and shielding. That Heroes X, again, looks really
Dance.
good. Has the right opportunities, and wow, a Danza Burrow
into Umoja.
Really surprises me. I mean, this is not the type of pick that I would think I would up against.
PCAT saying you guys didn't let me do anything in laning phase last game, so now you either play through me or I'm gonna run down this lane.
You end up getting into that.
Pretty sure that's what it is.
And being able to get out and disengage on a fight, but
he has to be thinking, I have to solo kill and make plays this game or we lose.
I think this Danza Fafnir lane has to get ahead. It has to be aggressive on top of this Chiron, because otherwise I think this Danza could really struggle come late game.
I mean, it's one of those picks that this is the 3rd time, I believe, that we've seen him this year. He's lost every game up to this point. He has not necessarily been the most successful pick that has come through, even though he's been a very surprising, and at least
Soul ban again.
Year when he was released,
Naja ban. So Erlong is open this time. I think they banned Erlong last time.
Of whether or not he can make that jump to the SPL. That's always the big gap, right, for a lot of these gods, is making that jump into being good. Gilgamesh Tiamat having done so already this year. Danza Burrow trying to find his way through. It'll be fun to watch.
President's bounty emoji can't get out of the wall.
Or at least what was a top ban for the Dragons last time, banned alongside that Naja. You had noted how they let that go through so late for Twig. Now they're just going to try to control that jungle pick, and it's the same Soul Scylla bans coming down from the Kings. I mean, Merlin looked okay early on for started to fall off towards the end.
I don't know.
What mage do you pair with Danza Burrow? Is there a way to make that backline combo really solid?
Yeah, you want something that can follow up on his CC pretty effectively.
But Apollo is not
Merlin,
like super OP right now. That's scary.
He's going to taunt them in with that 2nd ability, using your Merlin combo on top of it to continue that CC chain.
Apollo's OP like
or
3 months ago, 2 months ago.
And putting out pretty good damage with that Percussive Storm also feels pretty good. So I'd be surprised if we saw Hurry go anywhere besides Raijin or Merlin in this position. He could wait. It's a matter of if they want to give Sam that counter pick this time around. Normally Sam has been waiting a little bit in these drafts, or actually going earlier, in these drafts. The fact that they're letting him find his counter pick. Remember that despite how well Twig played those team fights, Sam was winning every 1v1, just unable to finish every single kill off. He was.
I don't think he'll be able to go through Umoja, right? Because if he gets caught by Umoja, he should just be getting slammed by Umoja once.
Also worth noting, at least at this point, if we're in a Season 7 draft, I think we're talking only about Nemesis when it comes to the jungle, at least for the Dragons, right? Good against Cthulhu should theoretically...
I can't see him safely getting the leaf form here.
Maybe not against whatever else they have. But they do lock in that Raijin you had highlighted and opt to go for their jungle at the.
So he does go Erlang.
Shin, another great pick.
Could go a big hitting mage here
setup on setup that's coming through. So ideally they get a nice heavy
BMT.
for their last one as well.
Either go a brawling mage or a big one-shot mage.
To that other side and talk about that Raijin a little bit more because like he was banned and picked damn near every
brawling
single
mage
game up until today. I mean, he was constantly coming through and finally going to be locked in. You had mentioned that you would already like to see that, so it's nice to see him locked in here. Erlang Shin Merlin coming through on the other side for the Kings. Raijin Merlin is a matchup we got.
Yeah, I don't think Cuckoo would have been too bad here.
All of the beginning of last year. It feels
Pele.
Oh,
all right,
Pele
Dragons, we are
instead
smorking
is
this.
one of those characters that I think really got unlocked.
We are
whenever
smorking
Shell
this
got nerfed.
set.
Taking those block stacks now, where it used to just eat
All right,
ultimate
chat.
cone strikes. Now you just deal.
We are playing full pressure.
Buff to the
We're trying to run down this game
I think it has a
early.
pretty decent matchup against Erlang Shen. I can't imagine Erlang is winning that 1v1.
I think Dragons are saying we don't want a 5v5 late game.
A ton of damage really quickly.
We just
a matter
want
of
to
that
hold
long
that
range
W
win.
key.
If he finds her in the jungle with a little bit of extra sustain and
Wait.
backup behind him,
This has been
can
3
give
minutes, right?
Pele some problems.
For those keeping track at home, Pele's first game of the year. Let's see if it can be a win here in game number 2. The Dragons need it.
Plenty of new picks.
Yeah, that was not 3 minutes. Okay. I wonder if they're just setting a delay and
Game
pick
number
some
2
bans
between
or
the
something.
Camelot Kings and the Jade Dragons. This one, the Titan will fall with good old-fashioned abilities and auto attacks.
All right, in my opinion, if Kings get to 20 minutes and they're only 5k down, they can win. If it's anything bigger than 5k by 20 minutes, Dragons can win this. But they definitely have to run away with it. Dragons definitely have to just get a lot of pressure out early. Yeah, P got something going Bluestone Trans 1. He's literally trying to smork this lane.
Really brought this god to a stage of potential high play.
Or for Danzel to... Well, Danzel can't go through
That's all
Emojo,
there
can?
is to say about
Can
it.
it?
Shell block stacks made Pele almost impossible to play because she has to use auto attacks.
Can you even go around in a
Out
circle
of
inside
ultimate, those
Emojo?
block stacks made it nigh impossible to find it, but now with Shell having changed to take 50% damage from auto attacks as long as you have the health shield, it is going to be pretty easy for a Pele to deal with it, that additional ability damage coming from the volcanic eruption.
No, I assume he's talking about like going around in a circle or something, or just like doing it to immune
I think
damage for a little
SPL
bit.
chooses the right time to lock in this guy.
We forgot Fav here, we're trying to smork.
I had thought we might see a Bumba's hammer.
Trying to
pick
smork
up,
and play for some early
considering how
kills.
auto-tech-centric Pele is.
But
It
Genex
is
did go
high in the
sprint, so
jungle.
Genex actually massive brain here going sprint.
The percentage defense.
I think interesting.
Maybe he knew their plan.
I've seen a couple of times so
Oh.
far here in Season 8. Not
where'd
often,
he go?
but why talk about him when Sanford Soccer has found first blood in the mid lane? It's a double play.
What happened?
Looks nice from Captain Twig, but means effectively nothing. Easy as you like there. And when you know how
Wait, what? What happened to BMT?
this Merlin can be early on in the game, if when it makes sense, my Sanford Soccer put some pressure there early.
Yeah, he uses the blink to find.
They're gonna Chiron bad now.
You gotta
Pretty
think that BMT is privy to it. I mean, that's normally when junglers start to rotate into mid. Just unfortunate timing gets caught out. And now, first blood going the way of the Jade Dragons. That's exactly the winning formula for the Dragons. Back when they were Ghost, they were kind of hailed as this early game team, this team that.
Okay, let's say, I
really
kind of want
gets
to replay.
pressure
Like, how did he
without
just
finding
die?
kills. And, well, I mean, that was a winning formula for him. I don't see why it would change in Season 8.
Oh.
Same for Soccer. Get him off to a great start.
Wow, that wasn't exactly hidden either. That was just a thunder crash.
Yeah, no, I thought that-
to get the
That was like
silence
some
and
like sneaky
chance
play,
of
but he
knocking
kind of just got
Sanford
jumped
Soccer
on
big
and then
takes.
blinked on and then died.
right where he was. So well played.
It wasn't
there.
anything like
The
crazy, he
one-two
just
punch
died damage.
between her
Yeah,
and
he
Sanford
just,
Soccer.
that was a
It
simple
was
death.
quiet for a little
But it is
while.
really good that
Here,
Dragons
so
are getting off
a
of
lot
the lead with
pressure
Raijin
as
Pele.
the game went on, variety on this Cthulhu, a massive
Trying to force the
reason
sprint, so we
on
do get the
PM
sprint.
has dropped his active here. Genetics trades in kind with a sprint of his own.
Getting
but Genetics
ganked?
is on the
Wait, what is
wrong
Genetic-
side
oh,
of the
yeah,
map
yes.
here. He's
Yeah, they
just
came
working
over.
away. And
So Genetics trying to buy as much time as
Dragons
possible, going to
able to
backhand,
pick up
trying to
his
waste
steal. I
as
see
much
no
time.
assist coming. There's no
I guess he
world
doesn't
where
have
makes it, but he
three.
gets Phoenix and grabs the last shot there, and it's going to be the second kill of the game. for
So
Sanford
Peacock does not get an
That was a
assist
strange
there.
play from
and
Genetics. He
Netro
picks
gets to
up
solo the
heavenly
wave.
Sprint to deal with the cursed Onk, the slows from Fafnir, but the second
Yeah,
the
maybe he
Rivet
thought he
came
just
out,
couldn't
I mean,
outrun
Netro
them
knew
down
what
the
he wanted
lane,
to
but
do,
I mean,
dashed
Sam
away,
has
got out of
boots
there
too.
immediately, but Genetics
I think he
kinda
could have
holds
just
his
ran down the
SP
lane,
for a
no?
couple of seconds, finally
Right?
Heavenlies and walks into
Wait,
the
where was
enemy
Sam
side
at
of
the
the
beginning of
jungle.
that
Had they been on
play?
the same page, I think he just gets out of there for
Maybe
free.
Genetics like big brained
Now it's
himself
American
and
San
thought the
Francisco
Sam was like
continue
super
to put
close
the
or
pressure,
something.
Still even with Captain Twigs as far.
Pretty sure he could have just gone lane. I mean, I didn't see where Sam was, but like I can't see Sam killing him like that.
Pounding that lead is going to be ever so important now for the Jade Dragons. Keep that pedal pressed on down. Big Man Ting's 20
Yeah, I mean that's
seconds
something
away from
troll
his
budget
beats,
exit die there.
and half HP as well. Will have the flicker. So a chance to survive.
Oh, Hurry
under a
jumps
little bit
in
of
here.
pressure, but
Ooh,
Captain
nice
Twig
double
now
punch.
taunting in San
Twig.
Francisco and Hurry win. Put the taiko drums providing a
Ooh,
lot of
nice
damage. We go
paleo
with San Francisco
though.
doing
So much
nothing for the
AoE.
Hellfires.
So
Hurry
much
He's got his
AoE.
first kill of the game, but it's a
Oh,
double
this is the
Horizon
smork.
exchange for only one now for the Camelot
Oh,
Kings. PPM
Metroid,
moves best
rotating
of
as per
Rockets.
usual.
Metroid rotates over. He'll use the ultimate, and Chaos reigns supreme in the mid lane. It's a 2 for 2.
Man, that is an absolutely
Metroid's
first off,
a
nutty
wild
rotation
bro.
from Metroid. ADC
Oh.
20 minutes. Usually these guys don't leave until level 20.
If he got his backs off, that would have been so
San
bad. I mean, it's
Francisco
still pretty
just
bad.
Did, what, 80% of everybody's HP bar with that
Yeah,
ultimate? That's why the shell change is what really got her
And
back in the
Metroid
meta.
keeps
I mean,
getting
my
a
man was
kill
absolutely
off of the
swinging for
rotations,
defensive
it's
dealing
good.
damage to
But if he
every
doesn't get a
single
last
target
hit and skips
inside
the whole
jungle.
wave, it's
Someone
really
is gonna have
bad.
to CC him out next time he's got that ability up.
So 1K deficit of 4 minutes, chat. So if we're keeping with what I said, they can continue having a 1K deficit until 20 minutes.
4.5 minutes into this game.
Each 4 minutes you can continually get 1K behind. I think you can win teamfights 5K down. I mean, Erlang and Merlin won't do much 5K down, but Umoja and Cthulhu will do a lot.
So a good look for the Camelot Kings jungler, despite difficult to keep up with the pace that San Francisco has put out. And now
Yeah,
the
Netroid
Ryan
loves
pickup starts to
rotating.
look a little bit more scary here.
He didn't used to,
why would I get a
but
chance to
on
talk
this
about
team he
that when
loves
San
it.
Francisco is on the map, and Hurrywin is in there. Thunder crashing forward as well.
Oh
Netroid slowed
no,
and
dude.
Raiju
Oh no, and
certainly doing some
Dancel.
work here, but everyone from the Jade Dragons
Oh,
except for Fido
not
bounces on in.
good, not
And another
good.
couple
We're getting
kills fall for them.
smorked.
Man, the Jade Dragons woke up looking at me too, and Genetics just looking at him. Yeah, you're dead, bud. Should have been
good.
staring down the eyes of the dragon. They chomp down and pick up another one. 7 kills, 5
Oh,
minutes,
it's
9 kills.
happening
Game
across
Fido
the
does not want to be
board.
left out. Looking at Variety on the other side, but a tier 2 tower at the
We're
Fido
taking
mark
too
might be
many
enough
dumb
this way to
fights
Fido
around the
walking
map.
Wow, and Variety
We
is
gotta
pulling
press
out by
the
5K
brakes.
over here on the right-hand side of the map. This is one
We gotta
getting
press
out
the
of
brakes
control
here for
early.
Kings.
Remember, it was a 1.5, 2,000 gold lead.
You
We
can't
were
be
looking at
taking
the
this many
Camelot
fights
Kings
against their comp.
a little bit further into the game than this, another 10 minutes maybe or so in game number 1, and the Jade Dragons have rocketed out to an early 2,500 gold lead, 2,000 experience lead here.
Is Fafnir
This is
the
where
Jade
this
Dragon?
team maybe feels most
question.
comfortable. They're certainly not only an early game team.
If Kings are
They
riding
are
on a
an
win
early game
high?
team. They're very
Okay,
good
people
at
just stop typing that in my
trying
chat.
to
I'm
stay
gonna
here, especially
lose
Captain
it.
Twig sticks around
You
for
don't
it.
get a win high, chat.
BM will continue his journey over to the right-hand
You
side.
only get a win high
Soccer
like
at
shortly after you won a set.
a force to be reckoned with.
You're just very happy
Final
shortly
game
after
on
you won a
short
set.
sword from his passive there. Don't imagine he finishes that one up into crit. No way. Final
Stop
game.
typing that in my
Here
chat. I'm
in
gonna
game
lose
2,
it.
But that is interesting.
I'm
that
gonna
slot makes me think
lose
that
it.
He did build into it. Actually, curious.
My brain is
Curious
gonna
to see
melt.
it. But going forward, yeah, Genetics is still level 4. By the
Remember
way,
when other
6.5
purple's nice?
this
Yeah.
Game, no ultimate
That
available
feels
to the Emoja. Finally ticking over to level 5 by soaking up some of Netroid's farm. And, well, Netroid's already a level down. I'm sure that he doesn't want to be splitting his farm.
And they just do
San
Gorb.
Francisco, Panda,
They get
and
all
Hurry, but
neutrals.
keep their
It's
eyes
such a
on the
good comp
objectives.
for
The Jade
Dragons.
Dragons
And they're
have
executing
had
it
their
really
fill
well.
so far, still keeping a kill up every single minute, but also
Yeah, do you think
keeping
Dragons are
objectives
riding on a loss
Imagine
high
this is the
right
type of
now?
game where it's difficult for Captain Twig to know exactly where to go. Where
Do you think they're just so happy that they
Saber
lost
shows
and they're
up at
playing
point in
so
the
well
jungle.
because they're just
it's
high?
going to be a duel that he does not want to take. The 9 turns blessing
Big
him
no
to wait out a couple
four.
fights, but when this continually happens, when you show your face anywhere and immediately the Jade Dragons show up with everyone but
what
one of
is
the
this?
side laners, I don't know what you're supposed to do. It's a beautiful taunt here from Captain Twig, but you're going to lose 2 in the meantime. Jade
At least we
Dragons
got 4.
watch a couple more, and this one it's been a copy and paste play, but on the left side of the map or the right
Well,
side.
chat.
Either Find OK is there to help, or Panda
Kings
Max is
kind
there
of
to
made
help.
too many
And then the
random
3v3
fights
is
around the
there on
map,
either
and
side.
now they lost.
It's such a risky strategy that the Jade Dragons have employed here. They have essentially foregone the laning phase. They said, you know what? Don't need it. Don't care. Who needs
Wait,
a tower?
what?
I don't need to farm
No,
minions.
Mifflin, don't
Vanity
do
gods
this.
are my minions. 9 kills in 8 minutes had the Camelot Kings just survived the first 4-man rotation, had they survived the second one, the Jade Dragons would passively fall behind because they're always so grouped up. But these guys are playing out of their minds right now, and every single time they've engaged, they've walked out with at least 1 or 2 kills.
And it seems like every
Okay, that wasn't too bad by Mifflin.
Cannot be walked out with any level of confidence right now if you're the Camelot.
They're mad after game 1.
That time.
They're not mad. You don't just sit in your chair and seethe. And you're just like, grr, we lost game 1. Now what do I do? I'm so angry. Chat, you guys are writing too many storylines right now. You're being little storyline Stevens right now.
Show too much face here. The red buff is probably just worth sacrificing at this point.
I'm flabbergasted.
Don't be storyline Stevens,
just,
chat.
Jump onto genetics right there with the pace that they've been maintaining.
It
blows my mind. Yeah, they've locked eyes with every enemy.
Dragons are mad after game 1 and Kings are riding on a win high.
Wild. How do they? What's the thought process, Dave? How do they know?
Smite pro players are so emotional, dude. They win one game and think they won the set, so then they just decide to make so many misplays the next game.
Trying to establish a little bit of dominance on the left-hand side of the map. 4-man grouping already. Better believe they got their mind on the Gold Fury. If Netroid steps up, well, he's going to have an entire team on him, and if he falls,
they're so mad they decided to pick full pressure and hold W.
If they're there in numbers,
should the Kings
don't look for it. No.
Look at those wards, they're so mad.
You got me on some linguistics there. They can. They sure can. They can press that W.
Oh, no.
Want to, though. This is the big pivot here. Genetics finds SamForSoccer, but that's not the surprise he was hoping to see around the corner. The Riptide buys some time, but the River's Rebuke will not provide enough. Netroid dashes away. That's a good old-fashioned 2v2, but it gets worse. Maybe a kill on SamForSoccer as Captain Twig.
Okay.
Chops him down for 2.
Stone cutting OP, jungle OP.
Great job.
ADC sucks.
They had the numbers advantage on the left-hand side.
What? Stone cutting literally broken.
By Hurry and PBM, but
OP item.
Always gonna feel good when you're this far down. The gold.
Yeah, now they're actually mad
at this point. So anything that the Camelot Kings are able to claw back is gonna feel great.
Sam and Peacock are so mad.
That's a threat.
Wait, Twig realized he was about to lose, and Twig got angry. He's no longer on his winner's high anymore. He's on loser anger. Free pyro? No way. If Kings win this game, I'll be so tilted. I'll be so angry. I'll be on my... Oh, no, it's not going to be good.
He's not concerned about the pyro. He's concerned about the
no way.
Horrific emblem gets used.
What? No.
Okay. Where he is.
Twig dies here, right?
Long Shen sacrificed here could go from 3-3 to 3-4. And
oh, Genetics done too? Oh, they were playing the whole like, I'll get you out, you get me out thing. Now Harry's dead?
Variety now looking to be caught out here. Hurrywin jumps in forward. Descent into Madness is just used momentarily to dissuade the dive from continuing. Gotta think that the Jade Dragons are primed here to go ahead and strip away the tier 1.
Alright, so I think we just start wiping T1s off the map and get Gold Fury somewhere in the middle of that, I think.
But instead has his eyes on the Oracles. With Pyromancer down, only one neutral objective realistically could fall in the near future, and that is the Gold Fury. Jade Dragons setting up for it. Still 4,000 gold in the lead.
Yeah, my God.
They were riding their pyro high.
1-6. For Hurrywin on this Raijin, he's got an early Divine Ruin.
They thought they were so safe after they got that Pyromancer.
There is, between the Emoja, Captain Twig on the back end of his ultimate. That's going to get mitigated by Hurrywin here as well. We've seen
there's no happy teams in SPL. We're either just riding winners' highs or we're just angry.
Raijin has pulled a lot of early bans, so I was admittedly somewhat surprised he fell that far down in the draft, and the Jade Dragons clearly happy.
I mean, pick so much blue stone. He's just good. Oh, Netroid gets these. Right? Netroid? Bounce him off that smoke!
Yeah, no shot. That's how
GX is such a noob.
To find the kill to Sam.
Oh, that's sad. Okay,
big pickup as well
I'm pretty sure GX can just 3 Sam off of it and make them reset gold, no?
Now the highest threat on the Jade Dragons is off the map, but you could say the same maybe about the Camelot Kings as Fino K dueling out with Captain Twig. The heal comes through.
Let me fire giant.
Good eye there, Mifflin. Final K continuing the chase. You have to imagine into the wall. Goes
I
Twig,
genuinely love watching that
worked.
ability kill
Panda Cat
people.
Snags one on a genetics here. The fighting has continued in the mid lane.
Now it's genetics
Oh.
and falls. Twig and Big Man Teams
my
might be
God.
following in the near
Okay,
future.
making a
Final
YouTube
K
video.
drop kicking his way across the map,
Oh, he's
but
out.
finds himself in the madness
No.
defending variety. Looking to finish him up, and he does.
Oh!
What's happening here? Final K trades out. Now Panda Cat grabs another kill. It's a red buff and flicker away from Big Man Tings.
I love watching just like their body fall
Gold
off
has
of the wall.
expanded just slightly now, 5,000. But remember, there was a Gold Fury just a few moments ago.
Alright, so we're 5K
And
down
in
at
chaos
13
like
minutes,
that,
which is
Mifflin, it's hard
7
to
minutes
kind of feel like
earlier
maybe
than
he
I
comes out ahead
said.
because
I don't know if
how
they
far
didn't
behind the
hear
Camelot
me,
Kings are, the fact that they're evenly trading out some
or
of these
like
fights has
what
gotta
Kings are
feel
doing.
so
I wonder if it's
much
just like they don't
better.
respect my,
Yeah, it feels
like,
okay, man. Get that spam rolling.
what
in the
I'm
chat as
saying.
Camelot
I'm a little
Kings
angry
are trying
about
to
it.
get their wheels rolling under them. Jade Dragons still are coming out ahead on these engagements if we are just to go by the graphs here. And Dave,
Yeah.
we're talking 16 kills.
Yeah,
22
Samson's a
total
little
per match
rough
in
considering
14
Genetics is
minutes.
level
We're on
8.
pace for some historic Smite here. This could be one of the highest kill games of SPL history going forward. It's wild. It's wild, and something's gotta give, right? Eventually, the time and the clock isn't
I'm
going
not sure when Genetics will feel comfortable
Fire Giant's gonna
ever
fall off one of these
tanking
engagements.
anything
That's gonna
from the
open up
enemy
the map
team right now.
so much.
He does have tank boots,
You do
but he
have
has
to think
15
Panda-Cat's gone
stacks
for
of
an early
thieves
onset here.
into a
Netroid's
level
done the same,
15
so
Raijin.
Netroid may be the closest to his counter.
Yeah, Genetics might just be like a
on this
CC
map, as
bot.
Captain
I don't
Twig
think
is
you can
falling a couple
actually
levels
tank
behind. I was
anything.
praising him earlier on in this game. Had the Erlong Shen had been able to keep pace, but it was only a matter of time, right? At a 5
Oh!
and 6, SPL was going to pull
Oh?
a little bit
Wait,
too
do
far
we...
ahead. It's a River's Rebuke, but is it enough? No, it's not.
Yeah,
Killing
he's just not
spree for
tanky
Panda-Cat.
enough.
Netroid trying to even up the score
And
a little
Hurry's
bit,
rotating.
but instead he
Good
might
luck.
tilt it further over towards the Jade Dragons. Hurry
Twig
went on a
too.
killing spree.
Dragons literally
Twig
said,
likely
okay, we did
makes
final
three
duo
in a
side all
Pepper
last
Crash. We'll
game.
see.
Okay, this
Oh,
time,
Daddy.
fight through duo and fight
So
through
2
mid.
for none so
And they
far.
did
That's
that, they
Variety
smorked
falls
and got a
back.
giant lead, and Final K
And he
didn't
just
play
might
too
because
bad on
Sanford
his side of the
Sucker
map.
shows
So,
up. Yeah, Descended to
yeah,
Madness.
this game's
you
over.
have that on cooldown. Doesn't even actually get the cooldown
Where
off.
does
My
this
man
team
tried
go?
his best and falls down. If you're asking about the Kings, well, probably to game 3 at this pace, right?
No.
But if you're talking about the
this
Dragons,
Jade
Fire
Dragons-
Giant, I guess.
No, I'm not saying in this game. I'm saying in game 1. Where was this? It's such a hard team to figure out sometimes because they have the ability to do this. They're up 19-6 in 15 and a half minutes.
I don't think teams are this
And
clean and
then
ranked, unfortunately.
Aggro, I think rightfully so, points out the
But I mean,
big
Dragons with a
good
lead.
player on the team.
I mean, they've
And
always
it's
been good
so
at forcing
weird
leads.
Sometimes this Jade Dragons team because they play like
You
the
can
best
S6
team
at
in the
20
league
minutes.
in moments like this. And if they can get those feet back under them, find that early Season 8 form again.
I'm watching
it's
on a
gonna be
pretty
very,
bad
very
screen.
scary
It
team,
cut
this
off the
one.
hunter builds. Would anyone please
A far
type it
reach
to
you have
me?
to imagine for the Camelot Kings to make their
I
way
mean, I could
back in.
read it if you wanted.
It's gonna be tough. Not often is it a 10,000. Yeah,
It's
I
a
did the math on
Bluestone
Cap.
Trans
16-minute
boots.
gold
Attack
good
speed boots
Jade
awesome
Dragons
for
is
net.
at 2-9.
Looking pretty good here. Yeah, look,
I'll get
it's
back
close
to you
the
about
line.
Picat's
I feel
build.
pretty bad about it now, but that 13,000 experience tells a different story, man. At this point in the game, experience is the name of the game. 4 levels in solo, 3 in the jungle, 2 in mid.
Yeah,
5
10K lead at
levels
16
out of
minutes.
support. I mean, Jade Dragons, it's their
They're
game.
literally just smorking them,
Jade
not allowing them to
feeling
farm.
good here. He started to build into a little bit of power, maybe a bit earlier than we would expect. Sanford Soccer says this purple buff
Ooh.
is not free.
Okay.
And we didn't care about the purple.
Netroid
buff, he
definitely
just
wins
wants
this.
Netroid here,
Wait,
and
what?
goodbye to the Chiron, as we've now reached 20 kills for the Jade Dragons.
How
in
did Netroid
16
not win
minutes
that?
and 45 seconds. And this is the point in the game where the Jade Dragons have to choose how safely they do or do not want to play this. There will be
They
a
first
final
picked their
here.
Chiron. How
It'll
is
be
he
a good
not
target if
winning
you're
this fight?
considering An early game Fire Giant. Okay, I thought Captain Twig
Oh.
was looking for Sanford.
Pika has the exact same build except for he has Executioner finished.
Sanford Soccer might
Netroid
be
should be going Executioner. Oh,
He
no.
catches out the back.
Oh, he has Stone Cutting.
The pin
Stone Cutting
absorbs
diff?
the bubble here, and Sanford
Stone Cutting
Soccer
diff.
is
He's safe, he's safe.
playing with his That's right, you get the dash.
Oh,
All
nice
right,
juke.
Mifflin,
He's not safe,
can
he's
you
not
cast
safe.
him? He's not safe. Abort mission. Abort mission.
That's not safe, that's
I'm
not safe.
I'm not safe. Everyone leave.
Oh, he's safe.
Survive.
How is he out?
He is safe. He is safe. He is safe. Captain Twig.
Twig kind of
Goes on,
breaking
but,
ankles there.
not
I mean, that was a
without
big
a
wing
little bit of chaos.
blade proc.
Hey, he might live on, but
It's
the
kind of
same
a race
cannot
car.
be said of the Primal Fury. 4 rather.
Dude, Dragons have to
No,
be
it is
so
all 5
angry
of
after
them
they didn't
there
get that
on
kill.
the Jade Dragon side, just
We have
working their
descended
way
in the
in towards
madness,
the
you and I.
objective. Yeah, this is nuts, man. I mean, how are we supposed to keep pace with this? It's 26 kills in 17 minutes. And already the Jade Dragon's pulling further ahead. Now 11,000 gold. Just go to the Fire Giant, guys. Just put an end to him. Stop hitting him. He's dead already.
What are people going Magus?
We gotta save our chops for what
or
looks
Divine?
like a very likely game 3
Magus,
between
okay.
these two teams. Pele, alright, look. It's not over till it's over, but we've obviously got some downtime here. The Jade Dragons are going to work towards the FG, and we'll call that fight when it happens. Do you think
Yeah,
Pele
we kind of got
suddenly becomes the man
snowballed
for the Camelot
upon.
Kings in what likely looks like a game 3?
I mean, it's hard to say. Pele is strong, but how often can you really expect SamForSoccer to get as immaculate a lead as he got in this game? And could he not just do the exact same thing
Every game.
on another auto attack god, right? Pele is not so significantly stronger than Erlang, Shen, even Gilgamesh Jungle is going to be able to match some of this pressure. If we want to talk about auto attackers, Ao Kwong's in the conversation as well. I don't think that you could dedicate a ban towards
Let's see SPL matches, builds, and stats. I'm not
In
sure.
the god pool there for SamForSoccer. That makes
I would
Pele a
assume
bit of
so
a hard
somewhere,
sell
but I'm not sure.
in the old ban column there.
Yeah,
5 strong
Genetics
with the FG.
almost has
It's the
Thief stacked,
Camelot Kings.
actually.
We'll have to
6
go back
more,
to
5
base
more.
and Throw together some similar.
But that Ryzen has, you know, a lot
Yeah,
of
I don't know,
experience. Level
it's
18
not bad.
Ryzen,
Rivers
level
Rebuke. Here's what
19
I'm calling it.
Dans.
Rivers Rebuke.
Big hasn't
Put
backed in a long time.
SamForSoccer alone with all 5 Camelot Kings.
Okay.
And then SamForSoccer pentakills him. Just kidding. Variety caught alone here in the tier 2 tower in mid.
Alright, so we're almost at
But
20
this
minutes.
looks like maybe the
Variety
softest tier 2
is
defense
pretty far off of
of all
Heroes
time
Axe,
for
you know.
Camelot Kings, likely
We were down
One of these
13,000,
phases.
which is
Minions maybe
8,000
right
higher
inside,
than I
not
said they
picking up
could
points
be
with
down at this
any
point.
real threat towards that one. Dragons playing it smart though.
Enemy team has Fire Giant. You've lost all of your towers but a
Work our way
mid tier
towards the
2.
tower, but fine, okay, not content with
So,
on the backside, and we will wait.
Where do we go from here, chat?
Camelot Kings have a bit of wave clear of their own.
The good news is that Dragons will be on a winner's high after they win this game. So we're looking at a game 3 loser's high for Kings, winner's high for Dragons. So based off of how high all the players will be, the Kings should take the W in game 3. I mean, I would only assume.
Camelot Kings may have stepped too far forward. Final case in.
Yeah, Final King blinks in, finds himself a pretty good ultimate, but the Jade Dragons won't be there to immediately follow up. It's bought space, though, to get the tier 2 tower down in mid. Big Man Ting sends some damage Hurrywood's way, but it won't connect as the Raiju's on Captain Twig, but won't get triggered. Then the rest of the Jade Dragons work in. Under the mid lane Phoenix they go. Netruid uses his ultimate, and Hurrywood is connected with the Taiko drums from range. Half HP on all of the Camelot Kings. It feels like a matter of time before one of these dominoes fall. But the Camelot Kings staying alive. A little bit of sustain from the level 11.
So we didn't hit the Phoenix at all? Now we're hitting Phoenix?
It is, but it is
So why did
only
Pika
a
hit
little
the
bit of
Phoenix at
sustain
all?
because Umoja is level 11, 20 minutes into the game on a Phoenix defense, but it is just enough to keep the Camelot Kings tied it over, just enough to keep them topped up, so that the Jade Dragons will not continue their push. Instead, falling back, seeing if maybe the Camelot Kings steps forward. I don't think they will, and I don't think they should. 3-man core up towards mid. Jade Dragons go ahead and head back onto base. Still a minute and a half left on their Fire Giant, so they're going to have plenty of time to go ahead and back up, spend all the gold they got from these towers, regroup, and try that siege yet again.
Oh man, SamForSoccer just finished off a Heartseeker.
The only objective is when you're mad, you just kill. True. All you see is just your whole screen's just red. You know, with the blood of your enemies. We're not trying to kill objectives here.
And then you'll find your way about 6 feet under as the Camelot Kings 21 minutes in. They'll do their best to farm up a bit here, Mifflin. Get themselves somewhat close as far as levels go. Big Man Ting's level 19. He'll be close to being able to upgrade that starter item here shortly. But
this is actually going to be a 20-minute game.
Fire Giant, maybe one last chance here for the Jade Dragons. Likely just going to buy some time.
Magic Shell upgrade purchase for Genetics.
That'll be back. Maybe just
sadly, no longer provides block stacks.
Right? When a few minutes ago I said there's different ways.
Because winner's high is OP is no. Winner's high is bad. Loser's high is very good.
It is.
You definitely want to be high as a loser instead of a winner.
22 minutes in the game, super.
Oh, Jeff, Trevor, not really.
Clock is concerned, but I cannot.
After game 1, I'm not taking any risks.
Yeah, no risk. This is
You want to
tournament
build for
point, essentially, or
SPL?
not tournament point, or set point for the Camelot.
What?
So the Jade
Yeah,
Dragons can
kinda.
make sure that they don't fumble it in the final quarter. 22 minutes in means that Oni Theory is going to be respawning as well. Should be able to split up the map, create those enhanced minion waves, and make it easier for them to look towards the Fire Giant. I'm not sure that it's overly necessary. They just want to make sure the Kings can't get the objective, is what I'm thinking.
How long does Losers High last?
The Order side team steps up and takes a fight in neutral territory.
Like, will
around
Dragons
the
still have Losers High in
Show
Game
any face
3
on that
if they
last
win this
FG.
game?
Hard to
Does
see
Winners
where we're
High
gonna do it for
negate
this
Losers
FG,
High?
because there's still a gap being closed. Now here's a silver lining. We always got to make things somewhat interesting, even
35
when all
minutes,
signs are
okay.
pointing towards the opposite here. 20-6 in the kills department. We kind of back up that statement. Everyone except for PBM has reached level 20. So experience
Is
gonna
RM
start
Sans Roots for SPL? Probably
mattering
not.
less, I guess, as the Camelot Kings are going to start closing up that gap just a little bit. Variety and Captain Twig, 3 levels behind their counterparts. Netrioid 2. And Genetics has maintained a steady 4-level deficit throughout the part of this game. This is
Wait, so will
be
Dragons
where you see what
and
the
Kings
mindset is.
not
They are
be
backing
high
away
in
as the
Game
Fire Giant
3
is
if
respawned. I
Kings
think
lose
that's
this
the
and
correct call.
Dragons
You've got
win this?
3 Oni waves to work with here. Let's try our hand.
Or
at
does the
Phoenix defense,
recency
but
of
the problem is this time there's no
losing
tier 2
take
towers
over
for
the
Jade
Winners
Dragons
High
to
from
work through.
Game
They're just gonna
1
walk
for
right up to one of these
Kings?
Phoenixes and give it a siege.
Dave, with the pace as it is and how well the Camelot Kings have been farming from behind, if they're able to stop this push from the Jade Dragons,
Losing to minions extends the normal duration. Oh, I didn't know about that in the patch notes.
Minute mark, this game's essentially dead even.
Oh, no.
Some of the members of Camelot Kings approaching the build, a couple of them rounding out their 5th item. I mean, it's not often that you're on 5 items in level 13, but it's a siege on the right-hand side.
But Genetics can't go back because an Oni minion has chased them down. And now there's just no Yamoja in this fight. Variety is the only frontliner. Hurrywin has stayed alive.
What happened?
This one seems to be sunsetting a bit here, Mifflin, doesn't it? The Jade Dragons 5 strong.
Wait, does that count as Kings losing the minions?
Netrioid still stands, so it's not done until those two have had their say, but it's going to be a 3rd and final Phoenix maybe going down, but the blinks are in. Big Man Kings, goodbye. Camelot Kings, goodbye. Game 2, goodbye. We'll see you up next for Game 3.
Man, well, the Jade Dragons at least made it a little bit quicker this time around. Hey, look, if we got 10 more minutes in there, Dave, I mean it. I think the Camelot Kings could have potentially won a
Yeah, there was way too many stupid skirmishes that Kings were taking in that game.
I mean, Dave said it earlier, what was it, 10 minutes ago? If you guys could play like this...
Way too many stupid skirmishes in the early game.
Right, it's that easy, right? Just beat one of the top 3 teams in the league.
I mean, that Pele ult at Soulside mid-camp, Sam literally pogged off. Pretty sure he hit all 3 players with every ult tick.
Just hit that stride in the early game and don't show any signs of slowing
and
down.
Raijin in those fights as well. Raijin's just sick in those fights. Like,
we're like, oh, the Camelot Kings were actually able
you
to get kills
just,
on the back end of that.
you
Things
just
could
can't
get
be
interesting
doing
here.
that.
But
A Bob named Cow! Congratulations! Let's see if you got a record.
Of 25 minutes. We have a game
You did
3
not.
right after this.
But you still get 400,000 bananas. Hello? Hello? Now, what's your favorite holiday? Alright, first one, not going great. Your birthday is not a holiday. Unless it is a holiday. But you get screwed for being up top? It actually kind of do get screwed. Unless that's OP. This. Where do you go from up top here? Oh, he just lands directly down. Oh. It's like a one-way street. No record, but congratulations, Check Lemonade. You won yourself 400,000 bananas. If I can type in your name correctly. Okay, I did. Congratulations, Check. Well done, well done, well done. You're welcome.
That's right, team jerseys and more. The more includes shirts, it includes hoodies.
Dude, the new merch is actually sick.
Things that you can get for your favorite
I'm a
team.
big fan of the new merch.
SmiteProLeague.com. Insight Apparel is our merch sponsor here, and they make some great merch at that. My favorites, I'll be honest, I love a good graphic tee, and I think my favorites have to just be the graphic tees we have, team logos. I would argue it's some of the best Pro League merch that we've gotten to have, and I can say that with certainty. I have like an NRG jersey, I have an Eager jersey, I have a bunch of team jerseys from back in the day when I was a fan, and I think that everything I've seen this year at least jumps up over.
Are you guys on your loser side?
And I hope that you will purchase.
How high are you guys feeling right now?
And now, as we move forward with it, and speaking of moving forward, aggro, game number 3. Look, game 1, nice and close. Winions come through, kind of an anticlimactic ending, if I'm being completely honest and candid about it. And then in game 2, the Dragons loaded in and played team deathmatch. The Kings were still trying to play conquest, but they didn't.
I feel like I'm still catching up on sleep.
No, they didn't. Sam for Soccer and Herwin just decided that why mess around with Phoenix Sieges and Fire Giant fights and things of that nature when you can just absolutely gun down.
This kill's kind of crazy.
Kings. I mean, take a look at this. Big man Tings just gets committed.
That is
right
actually
away,
just some.
By Hurry, that's
some Demahe.
really well,
that was all from Sam, bro.
These two just really roamed around. Mike, of course, alongside them. But they just became this death squad that just walked around and did whatever they wanted to do, and the Kings were not equipped to fight it. And really, by this point, almost, you feel like the game was starting to be over.
Yeah, it was.
Well, the Jade Dragons pushed their leads.
That fight around Red, I think, really sealed the deal.
You know, we used to talk of them last year a lot about being an early game team, and of course, you ask them. What they would very commonly say is the fact that they're not necessarily quote-unquote an early game team as much as it is that they just win early on and they haven't been pushed to those late games. And we're starting to see that, I think, come through in this one. I mean, just well played from top to bottom.
They never really got off the ground.
I'm surprised, I think more than anything, that Danza Burrow looked really good.
That is the worst we've seen BMT look ever since Kings have been on this hot streak, I would say.
Everybody just felt more or less.
But also their whole team never really got off the ground.
There for the Dragons. And that makes things a lot more interesting moving forward to game number 3, because one is a 40-minute banger, comes down to Winions after several crazy Fire Giant fights where the Dragons unfortunately aren't able to find a lot of the picks.
If Dragons are able to do that again, I'll be very surprised.
Able to capitalize on it. The second one, there's not much the Kings can do.
Yeah, that Winter's High definitely screwed them hard early game.
A chance to really catch their breath, let alone try to fight back. Now we're going into a weird balance that comes through. And Aggro, I saw you reply to this one, and it's exactly what's right.
Quality
Nothing's
tweet.
wrong with your camera. It's something wrong with everyone's monitor instead.
Yeah, finally, someone's getting it. Dan, smart man, just understands what you should be doing with your monitors if you want to watch me on the perfect angle. That's all there is to it.
That's pretty funny.
But here's the question. Why did no one do this for Myth's pictures when they were like last year when they were just slightly off? I feel like that would have been the smart way to apply to it. Maybe it's just the aggro treatment, right? Like you're obviously, naturally, and I understand this, always right. Mifflin, though, I mean, he was coming in. His pictures were just slightly off. I don't know. Like, it gives you some weird vibes about him. You never know what to expect there.
Yeah, I've earned the ability to force you guys to move your monitors around. Mifflin just wasn't there quite yet.
Turn like that?
Maybe next year it will be the time. Gore, I'll turn a little bit for you. Is this the way? Yeah.
I can tilt it. You're straightforward now. I didn't know my monitor could tilt
it. Perfect. Then I'll go back to where I was. This is perfect.
You're no joke.
Gore's
Wow,
face
I
of
didn't-
genuine
I learn
happiness.
something new every day. If you at home right now, you can try tilt your monitors. You never know what you'll find out.
Come to me,
as we move
you know?
forward. Tilt, make aggro a little more aligned. I'll gladly point off.
It's not till 7, right, Axion?
Number 3. I'm gonna correct that because
We'll have the podcast tonight. I think we have the
Kitty
podcast
Cat
tonight.
is back, and so are the Kings and the Dragons as they try to dictate who is going to win this set. Same order as far as we're concerned here. It's going to be the Kings' first pick as they've been each and every time. Sobek, Mercury, Yanis. That's been the top 3 for them. Dragons have had some fusion of Ra with 2 others. Tiamat, Ymir were last game. Fenrir, Yamoja in game number 1. Do you think there's any necessary changes here? I mean, what do you change? Like, if you're the Kings...
Sobek, Raw Band, Standard. I assume Kings will swap it up.
No,
Janus
I don't know if it's
ban?
draft related. I think that when the Dragons just get ahead in a couple of lanes,
So they
like
might
that,
swap
then
the
it becomes
Mercury
very
ban here
difficult
for
to stop them
Kings.
from doing what they're going to do to you. So maybe you switch up something
Fafnir
along the lines of
ban.
Merlin. You don't necessarily want to go with that because it's level 2. But it ends up being
Interesting.
the Fafnir ban instead this time around. This leaves open the Mercury that has been banned
Interesting.
up against Sam.
Team at ban. So same bans that Jade did
But
last
I don't think
game.
Sam's gonna top 3 that pick necessarily. Certainly
Top
not going
picking
top 2 it. Seems like something that could
Chiron?
go
We
a little later
are.
on.
Okay,
if
so
you wanna
Chiron
switch
is
out a
not
band
the
for
issue.
Fafnir, I think this does make
That's what they're
sense.
saying.
But now you leave yourself open by not picking Yamoja.
It started 7 minutes ago.
You have to assume that Mike is just gonna go to the Yamoja, Gilgamesh Yamoja here because it has been Gilgamesh.
Oh, I'm missing it right now?
Yeah, it definitely feels like a
Why is it so
support
early? I thought it started at 7.
You can see, I think Twig trying to formulate it. He was banned out a lot last time. Fenrir, that Naja taken away from him, forced the year-long
No way.
Not necessarily a bad pick for him. Just never got
Oh, I don't care about this set anymore.
during game number 2.
Oh, I don't care about this set
And it's very
anymore.
similar style. Both of these junglers don't mind waiting. And it seems like
It's Apex's basically like
be the one who changes
Worlds
Cullen.
qualifiers, right?
And again,
Like
I
everyone
mentioned
from the
this,
groups
with
qualifies.
Nif earlier. Cullen has been
And the
a
Worlds
favorite
is
this week.
next
When I
week,
just look
right?
over, there's so many games where he is in the top 3, some of which he's in the number 1 spot, first pick. That it's
Alright, so we're
absolutely
swapping
ridiculous.
off
In
the
fact, there's
Gilgamesh
been
here. We're
a
going
few
Cucullin.
games, it's today
We're gonna
where
top
he
pick Mike
hasn't
support
really
again.
been in those top spots. So the Dragons making that transition. Do you like this more than the Gilgamesh? Same as the Gilgamesh? I mean, for Fine OK, I'm sure it doesn't necessarily matter.
Yeah, I mean, Fine's a great Cucullin.
Well, Max Scotty, thanks for the 33.
Well,
hopefully.
Lock it in.
Maybe.
Hopefully the best
Position
33
where
months.
Gilgamesh, I think, has been really fantastic, and the Kings have looked a little lost on
This
how to
is
fight
leaving
against it at
Gilgamesh
times.
open for
In these
Twig.
team fights, you
If Twig
expect
wants
them
to
be much
top
more
3 here, they
comfortable
might ban it.
fighting around something like the Cucullin that they've been practicing against so
Oh,
much.
top picking the
You know,
Dan.
Cucullin
So
does
we're
throw
trying to hide the
very
rest of our
surprised. This
picks,
tells me that the Dragons
or
really
the other
wanna
people on the
wait
team just
on what
want to
they're
counter
going to
pick.
do. In the beginning of the year, it was a lot
Raijin
of allowing Mike
pick,
to counter
okay.
pick later on in the draft.
Yeah,
They
that's
top
I
two
figured.
Fafnir both games this time around.
Figured
With the
Dragons would
option
pick
for
that
Yamoja
top
open,
2,
I think
or
that the
Kings would
Dragons
definitely
are
pick it the
assuming
next round.
that it's going to go Genetics' way. I would assume that if I were in their spot. You're kind of just giving up a lot in order to give your players counter picks later on in the draft. I think that the Raijin looks so good for Herwin. I'm a little surprised he didn't go to it early. And that Yamoja pick and the Gilgamesh like we've been talking about as well.
It's one of those questions. I mean,
Yamoja.
it's
Okay.
a very, very phenomenal pick. We've seen what she can do at the top.
So we're probably happier with the
Highest
Raijin.
level of play, even. That's
No, we're not like it's a
not
Fafnir
word.
anymore.
Highest level of play.
What will
We've
PB in
seen
play here? A
where
little
she can suffer as well, and I think that
Fenrir?
they're hedging their bets. I mean, Genetics is what, 0-6, maybe something more ridiculous.
Twig is also not
in
top
that
3ing
last
his
game.
jungle here.
And so the Dragons seem to think they can handle that one. The Raijin, though, is going to be swapping to the other foot. The Kings are going to have that coming into their hands as opposed to the Merlin that they had last game. Not a lot that you can say, I guess, pairing with it in terms of frontline, just the Emoja right now on the side of the Kings, but compared to the Merlin, it kind of feels like at least the Raijin's going to give the Kings a lot more potential to fight.
Yeah, I think so too. It gives you much more aggressive options. In
I
the
actually
early
didn't
game
think they
while
were going to
still standing
prioritize the
pretty
Mercury.
well into the late. So I
We're going to
like that
ban
pick up a good amount.
counters
What that
to
Mercury
our
pick, I was
top
gonna say,
3,
it's gotta
or
be
just
effective
jungles we don't want to play against, so
instantly from the
Fenrir is going to be
Dragons.
gone.
Wait,
Maybe
not only does he
Nasha,
look so
maybe
good
Erlong.
on this pick, but it's such a good counter pick up against Mercury. You make his dash feel really underwhelming, and it's hard for him to always have his ult up and charged,
Nasha
ready
ban.
to use a CC immunity.
Might ban another
Pick him up with
Hurry
Dragon
God here
Ball. So I
for
think that the jungle
Kings.
bans here by the
I would
Dragons
assume a Hurry
make a lot of
God?
sense.
Yeah,
Also trying to make PBM dig further into his god pool. Actually, then banning Finrear is kind of banning away from themselves.
Really drove things home, and this Finrear has been a targeted ban against Twig for a lot of these teams, and even targeted ban, I think, against the Bolts there for Lazar as well. Like, he's been on the rise, and we just saw what Scary could do with it earlier. So
yeah, we are semi-late game with the Merc, so we could get away with the early game. Not having as much pressure, and we have a Ryzen, but it depends on PBM support pick, which PBM might last pick here.
It feels like they're trying to get Mike a little more uncomfortable.
I feel like PBM should last pick
here.
here.
I think so too. I mean, you're looking at what Mike is likely to play from this position. I think the Cerberus ban makes a lot of sense. That's a pick that he's really liked. Gone to the Ares in the past. Don't love that matchup up against Chiron as much as I like it up against the Emojo.
Gilgamesh support?
So Gilgamesh support is the call here by the Jade Dragons. And we haven't
We're
seen
holding Hurry's pick here?
We've seen him in solo now. We've seen him in jungle.
For what?
He's looked impactful
Why are we
enough
holding Hurry's pick?
to warrant continued picks. The support role is one, though.
So you just want to know if he can pick Scylla or not or something?
Value at a drop kick.
We gotta slam a hard-hitting mage here for Dragons to make up for the fact that we have 4 Fizz.
On the
yeah, the Erlong.
You're looking for Mike to really find these impactful drop kicks, and how comfortable has he been?
What's Harry gonna go?
He's fairly new. You know, how comfy is he gonna be?
Are they gonna want to fight in solo or AFK in solo?
Something that Hindu was talking about a lot on Thursday. Every time we were mentioning it, we were like, "Well, is it jungle? Is it solo?" And he was like, "Well,
I would assume Scylla here." Really oh, I love the Osiris pick.
It just kind of skated by, going off to any of those other roles. So I'm excited to see how it's going to fare over there. Then again, I mean, I guess theoretically there's a world where it's something like I wouldn't put it past Mike to do a Mercury support, except that Sam is really good at Mercury, and I wouldn't put it past him to try a Cucullin support, except FindOK is really good at Cucullin. So we'll see. More than likely, like you said, this Gilgamesh support that's going to be coming through. Erlong,
yeah, Arthur not highly prioritized this set.
And
Baba Yaga!
Baba Yaga!
Yo! I don't know if she's great here. Kind of feel like we don't have all of the...
The Haba Haga comes out, baby. I love it.
All of the pieces of the puzzle that we smorked game 2 with aren't here in game 3. So we're running Dan's Gilgamesh, which is obviously a pressure lane. We got Cucullin, which, I mean, transforms Smork. But then we have a Mercury Baba mid-jungle against an Erlong Ryzen.
It is easy to confirm a lot of the time.
So...
And... You've got some tools.
We're not going to be trying to fight in mid, I would assume. We're going to let Baba free farm, which is going to let the Ryzen and Erlong get all the mid camps.
On top of you, you can put a lot of damage out at the same time. I like this pick a decent amount here for Herwind.
Now the big question is.
Yeah, I think just you guys are right. This winner's high.
It feels like
ruin Jade Dragon's picks and bans, unless I'm an idiot.
Slower than what we've seen otherwise. Is this
I am not loving these Dragons picks and bans.
And just absolutely run over the Kings, or are they playing the long con again?
Likely not. It's more of a late game style of composition. I mean, you want your Baba Yaga and your Mercury to get to late game, but look for this Danzaburo Gilgamesh lane to be very aggressive.
I don't know, chat.
Kill potential in the duo lane.
There's a lot of kill potential.
I don't know. I feel like Dragons went completely away from their identity in game 2.
I'm going to say it for him, but not throw with it. Let's go down to game 3.
Bazinga!
Boost on Transient, Benevolence Rush for PBM, Boots Rush for Genetics, Mannequins for Twig. I don't know how standard that is. I feel like it's not too standard, but I could be wrong. I thought Eye of the Jungle was pretty meta.
The Bazinga? Is that we're starting?
Cast the game, Dave. Come on.
I can't. You're cackling in my ear because you said the word Bazinga.
Yeah, 4 physical with a late game scaling mage. Like, you're trying to smork with the 4 physical, but you have Baba. Unless I just don't know what Baba does, that just doesn't seem that great. I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong here. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to be proven wrong, but I just don't see it.
Aggressive than game 2. It's going to be an aggressive Game 3 from PBM, but he's going to have to make up for some of the slack out of the rest of his roles, especially a strange decision from the Jade Dragons deciding to
Wait,
go for a
PBM
much
holding
later
Hawk here?
draft between the Mercury, who is going to scale and likely
What?
the crit, and
They lost
BaRRaCCuDDa,
2
who
minions. Wait.
at her best is generally going for a multi-stack build, means that effectively...
So he's just trying to get
Jade
peek out of
Dragons
lead
are
with
putting
benevolence,
themselves
I
on a
guess?
timer, saying, all right, look, we're going to bide our time, maybe 15 or
Oh.
so minutes of the game. Already.
We're losing pressure with a fist support.
Yeah, missed the drop kick and
Yo, dog, maybe we go back to picks and bans?
Some of the lost early game with this aggressive pick in the support are the Jade Dragons. But now it's the Camelot Kings, right? If we're saying now the Jade Dragons have a draft that in
Jazz coming out with full boots already? Yeah.
much better into the late game than
Yeah, this already don't seem great.
we saw in game 2, excuse me. Not that what we saw in game 2 was bad in the late game, but more late game focus.
Oh, he did hold hog last game?
You
Oh.
gotta think that the Camelot Kings, maybe Mifflin,
That jump hit variety?
feeling like they have a chance to drive this early game a bit.
They could, especially around Captain Twig on this Erlang Shen variety.
Yeah, I don't know if it's mannequins for the early game pressure, or the auto tech thing.
Final K and controlling the totem. I think that through and through, the Camelot Kings should have advantage in just about every single lane throughout the early. I mean, Yamoja is one of the highest pressure supports in the game. Netroid's playing one of the highest pressure ADCs right now as well. Big Man Ting should scale much quicker than BaRRaCCuDDa. So Camelot Kings, it's really on them to push the envelope for the first 10 or so minutes.
Captain Twig goes Mannequin Scepter here, Mifflin. Something a bit different out of the jungle. Not used to seeing that item picked up. Does that give you any sort
Is
of
Blue Sun Osiris not meta?
Set of Captain Twig on the Erlang Shen?
Yeah, it's early aggression.
doesn't seem that
Mannequin
bad, right?
Scepter is one of the starter items, or one of the only starter items in the game, rather, that essentially is a non-factor after you tick over to level 6, level 7.
So Twig is not back to her
5,
full boots here,
it's some
while
of the most
Sam
damage you can get
has.
out of
Oh,
any
we're getting a
singular
purple
item in the
pressure
game.
with a fizz
After
support.
that, though, it's essentially worthless. So Captain Twig should be looking to utilize it.
Maybe
right
they
now,
know that they're going to
and
lose
maybe
pressure
for the
with
next 3 or
Gilgamesh
4
support.
minutes.
Maybe I'm
Well, he's
looking
already
at it the
lost
wrong way.
Levels 1 through 3, if we're following that train of thought. But
Maybe
still,
Gilgamesh
it's a little bit
support is
online,
a
maybe to
team
find some
fighter
match
and
value.
not a early
Look
game
towards mid lane, we saw a lot of
smorker?
fighting early on in the mid lane. Big Man
In
Tings
support
on the Merlin
role?
in game 2 got dove very early on, and that started the snowball. So maybe a chance to do that to hurry.
Maybe
up.
I'm just looking at it wrong.
Need a little bit of time to wind in here. You can already see some of the pressure building up though for the Camelot Kings in the duo lane. Genetics and Netroid pushed forward, found themselves a purple buff invade that PBM had to hog in order to secure for his own ADC. So that's maybe a continued trend here, Mifflin, where we figured PBM would be able to get aggressive alongside Panda Cat in this.
I mean,
lane.
everyone's
There's still
squishy
plenty of
early,
time
right?
To do so, but it's
Sam
always gonna be
coming
hard
for
to
the
get
level
aggressive
5 gank.
into a Chiron and a Yamoja, right?
And we're
Feels like
backing
they
up
just
in
gotta
the
pick and
duo
choose
lane.
when they do and don't want to fight.
But it's not even the Jade Dragon's job to get aggressive. PBM picks a more early game centric support so that he can just match the output.
Ooh, that was so
Reaction time
good.
from Netroid. The beats
Metroid
won't be enough
trolled.
here. Sam for Soccer
Metroid
down
hard
the
trolled
lane.
there.
First
He should
blood
never die.
Over to the Jade Dragons. Could be 2, but a big
Metroid
taunt
should
in from
literally
Captain
never die
Twig.
there.
Could continue the onslaught here.
Oh,
For the
no.
Camelot Kings as he found one.
Oh,
He
the
just
bubble
has
missed. The bubble
amidst all
missed.
the
No
chaos,
way.
Captain Twig finds himself a kill, but it's the up down from PBM to slow things
Wait,
down.
Twig
here.
kills people.
Genetics
What is PBM
gets
doing?
kicked off onto the back, and here you're finding some of that value.
What?
The Mannequin Scepter, Mifflin.
Bruh,
Last bit of early,
PBM?
Captain Twig's got himself a double. Watch out, Big Man Tings from the mid lane. He's found Sam for
Oh, oh.
Sam with the juke shoes, able
Yeah,
to avoid the flare
yeah,
for stability.
yeah.
No, ultimate slam Twig! Fumbling it here a little bit in game 3. Shame on me for thinking the Jade Dragons wouldn't bring the fight.
I mean,
throughout
Merc
the
2
early
kind of
game.
OP in that
Look,
situation.
as far as I'm concerned, now Captain Twig has gotten the full value for Mannequin
There you
Scepter.
go.
He can transition
Thumbs
it into a hidden blade later on, and that's gonna
Merc
scale
2
very
kinda
well with this
OP.
god. Camelot Kings, they cannot rest on their laurels though. They have to keep up this pressure. If this game goes to 30-some-odd minutes,
I mean, I think
the
those
scaling
Raja ones are
Dragons
pretty hard to
have
hit.
is
On
just strong
ping
enough to
plus
make up
against
for it
someone who's
early
not
game.
slowed.
Right, let's
Kinda
not forget
OP.
that Sam for Soccer found first blood here in this game, so a little extra gold on
I mean,
what should be a great scaling pick.
Even for low ping, I
That's
think
so
those
hard
Raja
to
ones
read,
are
isn't
pretty
it?
hard to hit right
Netroid
there.
died there. But I am baffled at how quickly those beads rang through. The fact that Sam for Soccer, with
I think
all the
Netroid
speed of
trolled
Mercury,
that pretty
flies
hard.
down lane, and Netroid is quick enough to read it. Again, doesn't matter, he dies. But I think just a bit of a toss.
Yeah, I think those are
Not
coin
maybe
flip
too
Rajah
much
ones if you're hitting
reaction
those or
time
not.
there, but that makes Mercury so difficult to play against. You can just kind of chill way back in those lanes, especially the long lane, and set up for those ganks. It's such a non-traditional style ganking jungler, it can be hard to read.
Yeah, it's one of the few junglers that wards can't really stop. Sometimes when you're playing against Mercury, you have to drop a ward between the tier 1 and tier 2 tower on the opposition side. That's really the only way to stop it.
Gilgamesh incoming.
He used his drop kick here and his ultimate, but he'll use his last bit of escape to try to stay alive here. The Tycho drums from Big Man Tings. The last shot is no good, but Captain Twig looking at his third, and he's got a killing spree 6 minutes into this game. A toss on Hurrywind. Immediately gets beat.
The rocket! Oh, Sam!
SamForSoccer flies through the mid lane, doesn't connect with
I thought that was gonna go so much worse.
In order to find the last bit of damage, 1-for-1 trade in the mid.
Man, Camelot Kings are trying to do their best Jade Dragons Game 2 impression by maintaining this pace, and the Dragons not one to let it go without a fight, but the game does at the end of the day. 6 minutes in, Fallout just about dead even. Gold largely equalized experience, not too many gaps inside of this one just yet. About a 1-level lead for Twig, and the same can be said for PandaCat on the opposite side here. But
Genetics rushing Sovereignty.
Really Jade Dragons that are benefiting.
I assume Sovereignty. You guys think he's going Sovereignty into Thebes or Sovereignty into Lotus Crown? I would assume Sovereignty to Thebes into maybe Lotus Crown.
Game number 3 on his
Unless he just wants to like completely say Baba won't hit me.
Killing spree in the back pocket. A double kill, though. Not bad to start off here on this game. Greater Scorpion on the left-hand side, getting looked at, but oracled out, so slow going maybe for the Camelot Kings. And what a jungle duel we've got going on here, Mifflin. A Mercury up against an Erlong Shen, Captain Twig and SamForSoccer exchanging blows, and there's a chance for Captain Twig to do more of that here around this purple buff. The pin would have connected, but PandaCat had the beads going. Successful invade, but successful in the sense that Camelot Kings got
Twig
the
no for a
purple
bit.
buff. Will they pay with it?
Ooh!
With their lives, Captain Twig locked into place, tossed aside by PDM.
Wait, where's the Netroid's other shots?
In time as Hurrywind supplies an assist.
Did Netroid miss the other shots?
Brave to step back forward, nearly falls down.
Whoa!
Chasing out Genetics, the Riptide creates a little bit of space, but there's no way he gets out of this one. Hurrywind jumps forward, and a couple of autos is all going to take. PBM does it. Nice jump.
Yeah, but watch out now. Big Man Tings is starting to rotate over. Should be in range here. Has the Tycho drums. Netroid does not have mana. Thunder Crash.
Oh no, we're using so much on PBM. Oh, that was such a good kick. Oh no. Yikes. Oh, I thought that was coming from so much further away. Or so much closer.
Excited, but not enough range, and this one will finally come to an end.
Man, BMT is looking nervous here in Game 3. That's what, the 3rd or 4th ultimate in a row where he's just not landing enough of his shots. Legitimately, just
what?
He's
okay, Mifflin. No. Not gonna sell that narrative. Not selling that narrative.
Longer a killing spree because the Erlong Shen did die. Still a 4th kill of the game, nonetheless. Even in levels with SamForSoccer,
that's pretty good for Dragons to have a 600 gold day at this point.
But Twig was doing a good enough job farming.
They should be losing all mid camps,
level equity.
In my opinion.
Captain Twig shot out of a cannon, all 4 of the kills for his team. That's going to give the Greater Scorpion a good look here. The stealth is the Danzaburo as PandaCat closes the gap, and Mercury flies on through. 2nd kill of the game.
They're responding really well to Kings pulling objectives.
PandaCat 4-1 is the Jade Dragons Hunter.
Bro, they're just fighting all the time. They don't stop. Jade Dragons draft a later game team and say, it doesn't matter.
I'm not sure why they did that Gorp right there. That was pretty troll.
And it's working? Question mark. It's absolutely nuts.
They just shouldn't have done that Gorp.
Dictate the pace with this draft.
So Netroid backed.
That's exactly what's been happening. The
Netroid's so screwed right now, bro.
The Jade Dragons kind of pushed him down. Said, nope, my turn.
Netroid's actually so screwed.
This Danzaburo gap closes maybe caught the Camelot Kings by surprise. Only a couple of times we've seen the rocket kind of fly.
Netroid's so screwed. He's 3 levels down. No trans.
That caught the Camelot Kings a bit off guard. Polar Bear Mike, it was a rough start in that lane, wasn't he? You saw the first drop kick miss, and you were wondering how this duo lane would go. But since
Netroid also hard trolled that gank.
Been at the forefront of all but one of the kills that the Jade Dragons have had. And you're maybe starting to see some of the value out of this Gilgamesh support.
I think the damage charts tell a pretty damning story here, man.
I don't think they ever should have died on that
Part of
game.
just about every single engagement so far, but lowest on the damage chart. Supports beating him. Everyone beating him. I don't have to run it down here. We need to see more from the talented mid laner. He's been having one of his best years ever. Now's the time to step up. You can't let off the gas here.
He's got a Charon's coin and an immediate.
I mean, I don't think BMT's playing that bad.
And a 1 level.
I'm gonna be honest, Chief.
Farm is there for big man
I think BMT is playing literally fine.
Counterpart at least.
Wait, we should not be giving these mid camps here, boys.
The rest of the fight around him has got to be going somewhat well for big man Tings to be able to find consistent value here. The solo laner's probably looking around.
Give these mid
wondering
lefts?
what's going
Hello?
on here because it has been nothing but ruinous fighting over here on the left-hand
Wait,
side.
that's troll. We should not be losing
There's
those mid camps there, boys.
a real
No
fight to be had
shot.
unless somehow the junglers make their way to the right.
How are we ever losing
Well,
those
the fight
mid camps
should
there?
happen
What?
around this Gold Fury, but if the last 11 minutes should be any indicator, the fight can happen legitimately anywhere on the map. Maybe right here in mid.
Right here in mid. Seems like a pretty good spot, Mifflin. Polar Bear Mike taken low here, has to use his ultimate. Captain Twig had used his ult, I think, just a minute ago on the back end of.
Like almost every game this weekend, we've had a massive lead in duo. It happens sometimes.
That's his tower.
Dead, but yeah, that is his tower, Mifflin. But it does not matter. It's a rampage.
Yeah, Netroid either has to ult that or not stand there.
12 minutes in, the Jade Dragon's Hunter now has his 5th kill of the game.
Someone's got to get a ward between those towers. That's what, the 4th time Stanford Soccer has ulted from between there. I know it's essentially a death sentence, but I think Genetics' life is worth less than a ward would be up there, so might as well get one down so that
Netroid has ult back.
Legitimately, he can't play any safer. He can't play any safer, man. He's inside his tower. He has to be near the waves.
I mean, if he doesn't have beats, he should just be standing on this wall right here.
They chose Netroid to
and then
die.
clearing the way
Dragon
from there.
They chose the Gold Fury to die here as well.
Or,
And
if you're standing up that far without
unfortunately, that time,
beads, you
there's
should
no
be
really
consciously
chance to
aware that the
respond.
Merkle can be at your feet at literally any time and just be hovering your 4 key.
Can't believe you just
Or like whatever
suggested
key you have
Genetics
your ult
should
on.
just stand between the tier 1
No,
and tier
drop
2
a
towers
ward
and
up
mobile
there.
ward. No, you said he's worth less than a ward, Mifflin. That is.
Well, yeah,
Where's
because I'm
beats down?
assuming he's going to die to get the ward down
His
there.
beats are down.
Oh, you weren't suggesting he should just stand there as a ward.
No, that's
I
bad
completely
strategic advice.
Yeah, that is just bad advice.
He needed to
there.
ult,
PBM
insta-cancel
walks
his
in,
ult,
draws
and
the
then
horrific
dash.
emblem around the
Or
Pyromancer.
insta-cancel his
Here's
ult,
Ruin.
one
Loads
himself,
some
and then
damage
dash.
over
But if
the
he
wall.
won the wave, that's just unlucker.
Pyromancer is delayed now, and the Camelot Kings will scatter to the wind, and the Jade Dragons look no further around the Pyromancer on their own. 13 minutes in here, Mifflin. Hurrywin starting to hit some of those important items. Stanford Soccer is as well, but it's been a sad downward trend since the first few minutes of this game.
Dave, I watched P's and B's, and I was primed to push the narrative of the Jade Dragons just withstanding the early game, just making it through, using their scaling come late, and
Yeah, I don't think
well, they've kind of
Kings are
crushed
playing
it.
this
We're
early
talking
game
about
well.
a 3,000 gold lead for the late game centric team. That does not bode well. Stanford Soccer already starting to move into crit. Wouldn't be surprised if it's a rage pickup, and with the pace he's been able to maintain, a part of 5 of 7 kills already, that crit's going to get stacked up pretty quickly, if I had to guess.
Maybe they're
Camelot Kings
prioritizing
cannot let go of
Chiron
that.
so highly to
They have
take it
keep
away
taking
from
these fights throughout the
Pika?
early. They need to claw it back, but it's easier said than done.
Yeah, 3-level difference over in duo lane is going to be difficult for Netroid, and we've already seen that he can get tower dove. Look at
He's
Stanford
giving up
Soccer
his
here.
tower here in the
Joe
situation.
is walking down lane right now, and
You should know the jungle's
fine.
there.
Over on that
No,
pyro.
Netroid, your team's getting pyro, bro. You should know. Netroid, you should literally know.
Gonna laugh at some point.
Your
Netroid
team is
0-3.
getting pyro.
And play it back. Says Stanford
You know
Soccer
the
and
Merc's
Panic out
not
here. That one-
there.
You just saw the Mercury icon listing over towards the
Oh,
tower.
I'm saying Ghost of...
Someone get a
Oh,
ward
number
down,
7.
bro, and Sam's doing it for free. I mean, there are items in the game that can tell you when the opposition is coming your way.
I don't even
know
think it's an
it would be great
ADC
to
diff.
drop a ward
Netroid's
inside a
just
lane
playing
or between the towers,
disrespectful.
but something's gotta give. Netroid's 0-3. I'm talking a 3
He's just playing too
level
disrespectful.
deficit right now for the ADC, and no one has even given him the
I
slightest
mean,
attempt
he might be
at help.
tilted, considering he
Camelot
did
keeps saying,
purple
"All right,
and dash
Netroid, do
back to
your
his
thing."
tier 1.
Well, he's doing it the best he can.
Yeah, it's got to feel pretty brutal for Captain Twig as well. He started off 4-1. He was 3-0 at one point, 1-2 over the last bit of time. Probably feels like there's not much to be done, but maybe a blink in towards PBM in the mid lane.
No,
Something that
oh,
can be done.
nice.
Big Man Tings with the last tick of the Raiju. will end up picking up a kill, and Captain Twig, as I call his name, helped set up for a kill for the Camelot Kings.
That's one step on a long journey for the Camelot Kings to close up this gap.
It all starts
is a
with one step.
decent one. All journeys, even a journey of 1,000 steps, right, Dave? And it is exactly just that, a journey of 1,000 steps. It's going to be tough rolling for the Camelot Kings.
Especially if this one goes successfully for SamForSoccer and FineOK. Solo lane.
That was a lot of crisp for just Rage.
That's been left untouched here so far this game. BaRRaCCuDDa will have to use Lord of the Afterlife to leap away, but 3 members
nice
of the Jade Dragons
juke,
are going to
Harry.
get involved here. Hurrywind will eat the slow and instead chooses.
Oh
to run
no.
away because
Dragon's trolling?
now it's Big Man Tings making his way into this fight. The Aegis finding some good value there for Hurrywind, but so
Oh,
escape
no.
with the range
Keep him
damage
coming?
actually picks up a
Wait,
kill.
Netroid's
It's
coming
Camelot
too?
Kings who are swinging first now in this fight. PBM finds big drop.
That's a
kick
big
value
tether.
back end, horrific emblem as well, slowing down the Camelot Kings, and it's the Camelot Kings looking more comfortable.
Netroid coming.
Captain Twig picks
Oh,
up
the
PBM,
emoji
fight
team's the
continues.
sovereignty.
SamForSoccer
Oh, they
bites
gonna
off
do
more
it?
than Pikachu. Big
Oh,
Man Tings takes
no.
down his life, but FineOK.
Oh, Peacock
able to get
ulting from
Twig.
base?
What happens here? The Jade Dragons
Oh,
going to come out
oh.
the rocket.
Oh, the tether.
Comes Panda Cat. My man is a level 17 Don Zaburo taunting BaRRaCCuDDa back in, but he's a level 17 Don Zaburo on his own. And that is a 3-for-1 trade for the Camelot
Yeah,
Kings.
pretty good trade for
Walk
Kings.
of 1,000 strides or whatever we were
Netroid
calling
gets
it
a
now.
bit of
Maybe
farm
only
here
has
too.
500 or so left. It's a small curve down there towards the bottom. But that is an
Where do you
advantageous
personally
fight for
rank the Bolts
Camelot
for the
Kings.
league? Last place, probably.
Legitimately a massive momentum
Around
swing.
last.
The Camelot Kings needed
8th or
that
9th.
because the Jade Dragons were starting to walk away with
Big Man
this one.
Ting showed
Now, the Camelot Kings, with the help of Big Man Tings, have been able to largely equalize this one. 2,000 gold doesn't mean nearly as much as the 3 or 4 that we were looking at just a moment ago. But we still have to worry about the looming threat that we've been concerned about since P's and
He's
B's
skipping
started.
Aussie.
These
He's
Dragons
so far
still
behind,
have a
he's
slight
skipping
lead,
Aussie.
And they still will have a late game advantage with their draft.
Right, it sure doesn't get easier for the Camelot Kings, but that was the first real fight where I think Big Man Tings had a chance.
Ooh, nice
to feel
double ult.
involved, and he'll maybe have another chance here if he rotates over from mid instead of SamForSoccer starting out the fight with a big engagement.
Sam's crit
over on
chance
the
is
Camelot Kings
absurd
who
right now,
engaged.
bro.
Genetics now drop down to half health, should be able to sustain back up with this Yamoja, but maybe not in time to defend this Gold Fury reset. Do the Jade Dragons, they show just enough face on the side of the Camelot Kings to dissuade this one.
Yeah, do go solve and lose.
The longer the Dragons wait to re-pull this Gold Fury, is more time for Genetics to sustain.
Genetics
up
does
this
have
lead.
ult here.
Noni Fury down to half HP. Jade Dragons.
Oh,
doing this
nice
quickly.
cleanse by Netroid. That was
Cleansed
sick.
out thanks to his ADC and BaRRaCCuDDa, the Osiris.
Oh,
field
BaRRaCCuDDa
on
taking
top.
everything
He's got
because he has
3
tether.
tethered in with him.
Oh,
And
both
solo
Solars
laners doing the
4v1.
same thing, fighting
Yeah,
against
literally
the
4v1.
enemy team's roster. FineOK the first to leave, but BaRRaCCuDDa the first to die. The Jade Dragons have found the opening kill. FineOK could survive here
Oh.
if Captain Twig can't find the damage, and he cannot.
Gilgamesh
Now
incoming.
instead it's the re-engage from the rest of the Jade Dragons on the right-hand side. Big Man
DT out of
Tings has been
position.
caught out. Big time fight for the Jade Dragons to regain the lead.
Genetics isolated, you might as well put
They
his
never lost
tombstone down now. FineOK able to pick up that kill all over the Oni Fury. Camelot Kings step up to defend. Jade Dragons hadn't even pulled it yet, man. It's just legitimately a head scratcher there on why they're willing to take such a disjointed fight. The Camelot Kings at this deficit have to remain grouped if they want to win out on these engagements, and so far they have not.
Yeah, momentum was the word I was looking for there. The Jade Dragons never truly
Literally
lost the
1v4 on both
lead,
sides.
but the momentum had shifted towards the Kings. Captain Twig finds a pin onto FineOK, and we'll get the taunt, so maybe a chance
be him.
for a bit of a lazy
Pretty
back
big
from
pick.
FineOK, and Netroid grabs
I think a
the
level
charge.
18, kind of big for
He's on the
Netroid.
board, and FineOK will be able to buy those items just a bit quicker. There is a slight uptick.
Yeah, that
Golden
uptick right
XP
there.
down there at the bottom of the chart.
Thank
But
you,
if
Mr.
when
Fine,
the
okay.
fight alone there, not even including
Oh,
the Gold
Netroid's
Fury,
dead
bought the
again,
Jade
too,
Dragons
with
about
Mercury
2,000 gold. So I'm not sure FineOK is too
Oh, he zoomed!
needless death.
No!
Man, SamForSoccer just went in by the way. He didn't care. And he burns away Netroid's beads. Now BaRRaCCuDDa isolated, caught out by the winds of Shamash. Gonna be held down for a little bit. No ultimate available.
Panda Cat near.
It's crazy how
builds
squishy
here.
Osiris
Still
is.
takes a lot to work through the health bar that BaRRaCCuDDa
That's
has
actually
built
crazy,
up.
right?
This is what we saw last time. It was an engage onto BaRRaCCuDDa, and that was enough of a bait for the Jade Dragons to get sucked on in, and the Camelot
This is
Kings
smart.
turned around the fight. So I think playing it safe.
I mean,
now are
that's
the Jade
fine for
Dragons,
Netroid to dash
Camelot
away.
Kings
Just
makes the call for the
having
power
all
advance,
the
and they will.
information as a spectator Definitely a little
if the Camelot
sad
Kings
about
ever
that,
find
but
a
Netroid's
pick,
dash was
just one.
literally
I
fine,
think
by
at
the
the deficit that they're at and how quickly we're starting to approach the late game phase, they need to start looking for some Hail Mary plays, because so far, every single time they've been able to get something back, all they've done is put a Band-Aid on what is essentially a stab wound. The Jade Dragons are continually pulling further and further ahead. The Camelot Kings are going to need to do something big if they want to drag this one back.
Yeah, it's going to take a big
Netroid did
shift
go
larger
Aussie?
than a 3-for-1 trade that we saw earlier. Going to have to do that a couple more times. Hovering around the FG now, sensing the Jade Dragons are in a
I
position
did not see that coming.
to start up the big objective. The rocket, once again, brings PandaCat right back into the fray. BaRRaCCuDDa riptides his way away thanks to genetics, but the Osiris has been caught out. The rest of the Jade Dragons will come out.
no way.
BaRRaCCuDDa lives, right? It's going to be PBM. Who's going to have to finish off the kill. He's knocked on back.
No shot, bro.
Keeps BaRRaCCuDDa alive. The
No shot.
the Taiko drums, but it's 4 ultimates used on the disengaged
Bruh.
Camelot Kings.
Great disengage. If BaRRaCCuDDa falls there, Jade Dragons go to Fire Giant easily. Luckily, he's so tanky on this Osiris with a tether, getting that additional mitigation gets him out of that sticky situation. SPL was too low HP to use his ultimate to re-engage, so instead, BaRRaCCuDDa gets to walk out.
That is insane.
Only one ultimate left standing on the
That's
side of the Camelot Kings,
actually
and it is the 9 turns blessing for
bonkers.
Captain Twig, which means that the team fight for the Camelot Kings is largely hamstrung, whereas the Jade Dragons, PandaCat ultimate coming back up, SPL still maintains his. I think now's an opportunity for them to push the fight.
Yep. Look, BaRRaCCuDDa is so tanky. We just saw how much it's going to take to take this guy down, and the Jade Dragons still weren't able
No
to.
shot, that was intentional.
So I'm intrigued to see how this continues to work on, because this Osiris, not only slippery, but very, very, very hard for the Jade Dragons to deal with up to this point. SPL building into crit. It's already got the Rage, near full stacks. Deathbringer on the back end of that as well. We're used to seeing Spectral Armors against Hunters, but depending on the target choice here from SPL, could be necessary against the Jungler as well. Though, if SPL had his way, he would just ult Netroid or Big Man Tings every single time, then 2-shot him in the back line. BaRRaCCuDda's the one engaged on now, but he won't be too worried about it. Sustaining himself back up thanks to the Stone of Gaia, and he'll be full HP on the back end of the small skirmish.
Yeah, dropkick is an initiation on a BaRRaCCuDDa. Just cannot work. That Stone of Gaia passive working for him, but with it down, a little bit easier to get him.
Not expecting him to up
seconds away from that passive. Coming back
I think
up,
Kings just lose this fight, right?
A flyby from SPL, trying to crit down Netroid, but unable to do so as Netroid dashes away. The Camelot Kings on disengage mode. And they've got to do it quickly. Captain Twig, 9 turns blessing. Will the heal be enough? Not yet. FineOK finds one. PandaCat with the next. And the onslaught continues here. The Jade Dragons will find 3.
Just crushed him on that engagement. I thought it was strange that the Jade Dragons were deciding to continually engage on a BaRRaCCuDDa, but they knew once they were able to remove BaRRaCCuDDa from the fight, it opens up the door. Gap on a genetics,
a little bit weird.
Gap on the Captain Twig. No peel coming their way. Makes for easy shutdowns. 3-for-0 in favor of the Jade Dragons. And Fire Giant at the 23-minute mark, that's free food.
Yeah, no surprise here that the Jade Dragons go on over towards FG. All the Camelot Kings surviving members can do is farm up their respective lanes. Now, at 24 minutes into the game, the Jade Dragons have bought themselves 7,000 gold in the advantage. Level 20 starting to get reached by a few members of the Jade Dragons as well. Big Man Tings reached level 20 before Hurrywind, for what it's worth. So this Raijin had found some value in that small mid-game fight, but just got jumped on there by the rest of this Jade Dragons team. 1 tier 2 tower left in mid-Mifflin, then we're looking at the Camelot Kings Phoenix defense.
I think we might see the Jade Dragons go ahead and pick up a Primal Fury on the way, but the Camelot Kings going to try their best.
I mean, their base defense, in theory, should be very, very, very good.
Tier 2 tower defense, I don't think the Camelot Kings digging their heels there. It's a little bit too risky with this dot comp.
Polar Bear Mike was close, but not attempting to steal. Instead, he's attempting to engage. Over onto genetics, and why wouldn't you? A rocket through the storm, and it's PandaCat who will weave some auto attacks in. Genetics able to walk away from the storm. The drop kick into the wall has been consistent from PBM up to this point for Ryan.
And both their ults down.
Behind FineOK and Polar Bear Mike, Captain Twig is there as well, but tanky enough to just walk beneath the Phoenix line.
But now
Jackson Baba, I mean,
turn to get that Omi and HP stacked back
not
up.
really, I don't think.
Dragons do enough just by showing face.
Pro mid laners don't value the stacking items too highly at all.
Tier 2 tower. Now it's just the 3 Phoenixes exposed.
They rarely build them.
Standing between the Jade Dragons and the Titan. The defense is strong. Keep your eyes on BMT. He's going to have to step up in a big way here. He's the sole source of push damage on the side of the Camelot Kings, besides Netroid, who might have to use his ultimate to keep people out here. But the Jade Dragons are playing it slow. They're not grouped up just yet. And instead, SanForSoccer, doing his best Saitama impression, takes out the Pyromancer in short work.
My man beat the living hell out of the Pyromancer, goes back, picks up a Bloodforge for himself. And I think that's a smart pickup here for SanForSoccer. You saw an engage a minute ago where he found Netroid, was able to get a couple shots in there, but then Netroid ran away and SanForSoccer was left at about half HP, so a Bloodforge is maybe going to open up the door for a little bit of an extended engagement for the Jade Dragons jungler here. Maybe there's a world, Mifflin. I mean, look, this game...
What's the state?
What was it, 20-6 was where we were at this point in game number 1, something close to that. It's a little bit closer, right? It is definitely not as out of control, or kind of getting close to that, but maybe not as out of control as game 1 was, or game 2 was at this point. So the Camelot Kings may be feeling a bit better underneath their Phoenix, but
Game 2 for popping game 1, doing nothing in the next 2 games.
Good shout out. PandaCat is 6-1-6. This Don Zaburo has
yeah, game 2, I don't know if I'd blame BMT.
Unless the Kings have a way to get in there into the backline, it's going to be so hard. Maybe that's the way.
Oh no, Dragons!
From big man Ting.
Oh no!
Oh,
peek out one shot Netroid with that rocket.
Falls in reply. It's a big time roar now, forcing Genetics on back. PandaCat's still alive, and that means the Phoenix will fall.
Okay, that fight should not have gone that bad for Kings.
The 3-man Rivers Rebuke is what is able to slow down the push of the Jade Dragons, and that's all it did, was slow it down.
Metroid literally got one shot by that rocket.
4-man core of the Jade Dragons, relatively healthy, still could look for a fight here.
SanForSoccer being looked at by Variety. PBM drop kicks Variety into SanForSoccer. SanForSoccer will dash away. Beads is out the stun, sensing that the Osiris would have enough damage to finish off.
Picat's gonna pop off this fight.
27 minutes in. Now
they're gonna be free casting the whole time.
No Hunter for one side, no mid laner for the other. Captain Twig dies to SanForSoccer, and there's a stun connecting onto Variety.
One team got AC, one team don't.
Not fast enough, but the Jade Dragons have other thoughts in mind.
Yeah, that thought is big man Ting. SanForSoccer picks up his second one, and this route should spell the end of Variety, but a nice riptide by the
Netroid's back alive.
Oh,
that was a bigger crit.
Kill, but the Jade Dragons not concerned about multi-kills. Instead, they're worried about game 3.
And Obo's gonna get so much value here for Pika as well.
Damage away from locking it in. Netroid, he's found the first kill.
Obo?
SanForSoccer working into Netroid.
Obo?
Triple kill for Netroid, but PandaCat, he's unstoppable. Has to use the Aegis, can he out DPS to and the Jade Dragons.
I mean, Herwin would end the game anyways, but...
What is it about this weekend of these nail-biting Titan finishes, man?
Give me a break,
Netroid tried his best. He tried his best. Dave, you earned your break, bud. That's the last game of the set, man. Congratulations to the Jade Dragons, but the Camelot Kings did not make it.
I'm allowed to stream Apex? Wait, how do you know?
Come up just a little bit short. Look, this Camelot Kings, they go toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the league here. They are the Camelot Kings, one of the best teams in the league as well. Still plenty of games to turn around this group for them. But the Jade Dragons, after a rocky game number 1, turn around games 2 and 3, and they'll take the set. That means
how do you know?